Chapter 684. After Lin Yuquan's wife arrived at Zhongting, she first talked to the HR department of Zhongting and expressed her demands. Then, it was Sheng Xiao's secretary who took care of her and conveyed her love to the child. Although Sheng Xiao was very reluctant to use such formulaic methods on a mother and daughter, such a well-intentioned lie seemed very important in the face of 8 lives. In the end, Sheng Xiao had his secretary invite the mother and daughter to the CEO's office and deliberately put a computer on the coffee table. Lin Yuquan's wife was very nervous when she saw Sheng Xiao. She had never thought that a small fry like her would meet a big shot one day. Moreover, he was such a young and promising big shot. Sheng Xiao got up from his chair, strolled to the sofa, and sat down. "Madam Lin, don't be nervous. I just want to know if Mr. Lin can continue working in his current condition." Sheng Xiao did not plan to mention Luo Mingxian because it would arouse the woman's suspicion. Everything he was doing now was to relax Lin Yuquan's Chapter 696. Yuquan's injuries are quite serious right now. Feng Shanshan, I don't know if he can continue Mu Qiqi 2 paper Lin Yuquan's wife said, "I'll turn around." However, you changed. Seeing that Sheng Xiao's expression sighed and did she quickly explained, other than that, Sheng, she did not know what else to do. Zhongting has already treated our small family very well. Feng Shanshan turned around, the pillar of the family waited for Mu Qiqi's 2 and I'm a little sad. I choose the right. The company is a place that pays attention to the system. Don't be so wishy-washy. But it also has its own warmth. After saying, if you have any needs, Feng Shanshan opened the company has done enough for us and took the paper. We're really satisfied. But she only opened it just as Lin Yuquan's wife was answering the question. Lin Yuquan's daughter walked made by God for me and started Thank you for today. When Lin Yuquan's wife saw I'll go back first. She immediately watched Feng Shanshan. Didn't I teach you not to touch other people's things? She slowly opened her left hand. Then I'll go home and saw that there was nothing on the piece of paper on her left hand. Lin Yuquan's daughter. It was completely blank. Chief Sheng, on the way back, please excuse me. Feng Shanshan, the child is not burst into tears. Your daughter, she had made her choice. Cute. But it doesn't seem good for her to come into contact with after returning home at such a young age. She began to look for his father is at home. One week has to sleep. That was enough for her to completely so the child was infected from Tang Yan's eyes. Lin Yuquan's after Mu Qiqi returned to Of course not. She Daddy played all night. Sheng Xiao saw him go to the bathroom, tugged at her a few times. What are you unhappy about? When Lin Yuquan's wife I'm just lamenting that other people's relationships don't seem to be very smooth. Child. After what nonsense are you talking about? Mu Qiqi hugged Sheng Xiao's waist. You don't have to be I can't imagine what I would do. I'm not a policeman investigating a case. How would I keep such a bitter relationship? Lin Yuquan's wife's heart immediately broke down. Someone seems to have she was afraid that her daughter would say more things about Lin Yuquan. She had nothing else. Although you might not stood up with a flustered expression. Feng Shanshan, you might not even have CEO Sheng. Since this is what you like, you want to be with him. Someone to rely. I won't continue. I don't deny that Captain Tang is a good man. For every reason Shanshan was silent after whether it's a husband. Are you taking your daughter? It was rare for her to cry. I'll send someone to escort you. Sheng Xiao's expression was I don't know which book I've read what was happening outside. No matter how happy your love is now. He waited for her to decide 3 more times military enterprise. Lin Yuquan did not dare to look Sheng Xiao in the eye. Mu Qiqi, they rejected Sheng. Introduce Mama Su is seriously ill so that you won't have CEO Sheng. But I drove my wife outside did not I won't trouble you. Sheng Xiao just asked the waiter in Lin Yuquan's wife rushed out the door with her daughter. What are you going to do? Sheng Xiao make a choice. Is this what you wanted to tell me just now? Feng Shanshan in the dark paper. He looked like a ruler. Okay, I got it. She wrote, "Give up on one side. Let's go and watch the show now." Because whenever I think about Feng Shanshan, no matter what, secretary was extremely. Only when I'm with you, I feel calmer. You sit in the Sheng Xiao looked at the little one. Faces said coldly, and finally, Mu Qiqi, only the little one could sit in the seat next to him. Although I really wanted to sit on me, the secretary was also considering the bad influence. I'll give you the seat. Don't worry, CEO. Mu Qiqi even if he didn't say anything, Sheng Xiao I would have opened the front and held his arm loosely as she watched him drove and quickly caught up with Lin Yuquan's wife. Sheng Bowen brought Secretary Run to the secretary also realized that Lin Yuquan's wife was not heading in the direction Ren Yufei was either dressed in black or white. It was rare for her to wear such a bright yellow dress. Lin Yuquan's daughter, which made said that her father had been playing on the computer, especially in this winter. In order to clear his name, it was like the color of Lin Yuquan had deliberately hurt his hearts. Now that her daughter had various activities a long time about her father, Sheng Bowen smiled wife would at Secretary Run in the car. She was afraid that the police would find out. And how could that be? The Lin family's I just regret that I didn't realize Sheng Xiao had deliberately emphasized the word police just now. Since Lin Yuquan's wife was feeling guilty. By the way, It meant
The
that
banquet
Lin
is
Yuquin's
over.
house was indeed.
Do you have anything to do?
Hiding something that
No.
the police were interested
Does the president have other
CEO,
arrangements?
you can
Sheng
totally
Bowen
become a
remained
criminal police
mysterious
officer
and smiled softly.
Shang Xiao
You'll know when the time
deliberately
comes.
raised his voice,
Although Ren Yufei
which made the
was curious,
secretary
she did not
tactfully
ask
shut
further.
her mouth.
Soon,
He was
the two of
intervening
them
now
arrived at the
because of
Smith
that
Hotel,
hateful little
where the
one.
banquet was
Become
held.
a criminal police
It was located
officer?
halfway up
This
the
kind of
mountain
thing
and was
suitable
very
for a
tasteful.
boxing champion.
Come on,
like Tang Yin
after getting out of the
to run
car.
errands.
Shin Bowen
Soon,
let Ren
the car of the
Yufei
three of
hold
them
his arm,
followed Lin,
even though he could
Yuquin's
feel that she was
wife,
very
to the
nervous.
entrance of the neighborhood.
Don't be nervous.
Sheng Xiao had
It's no
no
different from meeting
intention
clients
of
on a
forcing
normal
his way
day.
in.
He only
Ren
gave
Yufei nodded.
Suche a look.
She was a qualified
Followed him.
secretary,
Since
and
Lin
knew
Yuquin's
that
wife
this kind of
was
occasion
afraid of
was
being
not
investigated,
suitable for talking.
she would definitely
she
think
planned
of
to
a
be
way
a
to take
competent
the evidence
foil.
out.
However,
and destroy it.
just as
Therefore,
the two of them entered the
Suche
banquet
did
hall,
not need to
Shin
break
Bowen
into a
saw
private
who
house.
ran in the crowd.
He only needed to wait
along with her
quietly
father.
outside.
After the two
on the
of them
other
divorced,
side, they had
Tang
almost
Yin
no
and
contact.
the others were
They
still
did not
in
expect
Lin
to
Yuquin's
meet
ward.
again on
However,
such an occasion.
logically speaking,
Ren Yufei seemed
after
to
his
have
wife
also
picked up her
seen who
daughter,
ran.
she
and
should have
quickly
already
pulled her
arrived
hand
at
out
the
of Shin
hospital.
Bowen's arm.
However,
there was
Shin
still no
Bowen
movement.
grabbed her.
Lin
Have you
Yuquin
forgotten?
looked very
I'm
worried.
divorced.
He
And
really
you're my
wanted to
female
take out his
companion
phone
now.
and call his wife.
But the people outside
but he was
don't
afraid
know.
that Tang
They'll
Yin
misunderstand
and the others
you
were
were
still
president.
on the ward.
The
He
first
really wanted
person
to find
Ren
an
Yufei
excuse to let
thought
Tang
of
Yin
was not
and the
herself.
others leave.
She was
But that would
afraid
make
of bringing
him
even
a
more
negative
suspicious
impact
to Sheng
However,
Bowen. Because
it's
he seemed to
okay.
be extremely
Sheng Bowen
anxious,
said gently.
Tang
Follow me
Yin
closely.
and the others
I won't leave you
deliberately
behind.
stayed in the ward to chat
Ren
with her.
Yufei's face
Mr. Lin,
flushed
you look
a
very
little.
hot, but at the
Are
same
you not
time,
feeling well?
she
Do
felt
you want me to call
very
a nurse in?
uncomfortable.
No need.
Because in her
I'm
heart,
just very tired.
as long
I
as
just don't
Sheng
know if you're
Bowen
done
did
questioning
not announce the
officer.
divorce between him
I want to rest.
and who ran.
All right then.
Who ran would
If
still
there's
be
anything
related
new,
to Sheng Bowen.
we'll look for you again.
Not far away.
Tang
Who
Yin
ran
gestured
seemed to
to
have
see
seen
the
the
two
two
of
of them,
them.
and they
She held a
immediately
glass of
got up from
champagne
the
in her
sofa in the
hand
ward and walked up.
Then I won't
to
send
Sheng
you off
Bowen.
anymore.
Third brother.
Lin Yuquin
It's been a
was
while,
relieved.
right?
As
He had
long as
finally
Miss was
waited
happy.
until the police
It was
left.
obvious
After
that Sheng
Tang Yin
Bowen's
and
words
the others
were
deliberately
left.
distancing
Lin
himself
Yuquin took
from
out
the
his
two of them
phone
and
a
called
few
his
days
wife.
ago about
Where are you
horning
now?
out. That's all in the past.
I'm at home.
Lin
I think we should
Yuquin's
find a
wife
time to
told
announce
Lin Yuquin
everything
what had
that
happened
needs to
to
be
be
announced.
After
This
Lin
way,
Yuquin heard this,
it'll be
he almost
easier
went
for you to find a
crazy.
boyfriend.
What do you think? Chapter
Who ran
6,
did not
85.
expect Sheng Bowen
I
to
got
tell
it.
her that he was
I'm
going
working
to
on
announce
it.
the divorce.
Lin Yuquin's
So her
wife
expression
said
was
in a
very
fluster.
stiff.
Her gaze finally
hurry up
fell
and go
on
home.
Ren Yufei's
Our
arm,
family of
which was
three
holding
will
Sheng
immediately
Bowen's
go
arm.
abroad to seek refuge.
Her
The money you
expression
earn
was a
online
little
is enough for our
unnatural.
family of
Okay,
three to
we're
spend
already
the rest
divorced.
of our lives.
It's only right.
When the police relax,
In that case,
we'll
let's
leave
talk another day.
immediately.
I'll go meet a few
Lin
acquaintances.
Yuquin promised.
Who ran
But could he
nodded
still
in
leave?
disappointment.
Special
She had a
assistant
feeling that
Sue
the Sheng
was
Bowen in
quietly
front of her
guarding
was
Lin
different.
Yuquin's door.
He was no longer
Soon,
the third
Lin
brother
Yuquin's
Sheng
wife
who would
packed
protect
a
her
big bag
and
of
hug
things.
her. And the
After
woman
comforting
hanging on
her
his
daughter
arm was a
she took
secretary,
advantage of the night
right?
to carry the
Papa,
things
who
to
saw
the
that who
underground
ran
parking
was in a
lot,
daze.
and went
So he
straight
walked
to
up
the
to his
beach.
daughter and smiled.
Suche drove behind
What's
her
wrong?
without batting an
Do you
eyelid.
regret
He watched
divorcing
as she carried
third
the
young
black
master?
cloth bag to the beach and stuffed a lot of stones into the bag.
It seemed that she did
Chapter
have some
697.
brains. She actually
President
knew
Sheng,
that she was
your
afraid
wife
that the
is here
bag would
today.
float to the
Why did you bring
surface
a
of the
beautiful
water?
lady with you?
Seeing this opportunity,
His business
Sheng
friend
Xiao
began
gestured for
to tease
Suche to
Sheng
get out of the
Bowen.
car.
To be
and
honest,
reel in the net. Miss Hu and I
Suche
were
received
not
the
fated
order
to be together
and rushed forward.
So we parted
He
ways.
stopped the black bag in
Sheng
front
Bowen
of Lin
explained
Yuquin's
tactfully.
wife.
When
When
Lin
Lin
Yuquin's wife
the other
saw
party
this,
smiled.
She
If that's
screamed
the
in
case,
fear. There's
what are you
nothing
doing?
to hide.
I
Suche
just don't
carried
know
the
if
bag
this lady
and walked in
her
front of
surname
Sheng
is
Xiao.
Ron.
Only then
Sheng
did
Bowen
Lin
did
Yuquin's
not
wife
directly
notice
tell the other
Sheng
party that
Xiao
this was
a
his
secretary.
CEO.
Instead, Sheng,
He introduced
shouldn't
her
Mrs.
seriously.
Lin be
Her
accompanying
surname
your
was
husband
Run.
in the hospital?
After hearing
so
these
late
three
at night?
words,
Lin
Ren
Yufei's
Yufei's
emotions were
suddenly
very
panicked,
complicated,
especially
her
when
stomach
she saw that
was
the bag
churning.
was in Sheng
It was because of
Xiao's
who
hands.
Rant's presence.
Please
that she
return the
felt
bag
pressure.
to me.
However,
Sheng
CEO
Bowen
Sheng
patiently
this is very
explained the
important
fact
to
that
me.
he was divorced
CEO
to
Sheng,
all his
please.
friends to try to talk to
You
him.
shouldn't be begging
It was
me,
probably to
but then,
protect
after
Ren
Sheng
Yufei's
Xiao
face.
said this, he
pointed
However,
at the other two
although Xing
off-road
Bowen had
vehicles
stated that
that
he
were
was
rushing
single,
over. It made
when Lin
Ran
Yukuen's
very
wife saw
uncomfortable.
this,
This
her
was
face
because when the women
turned
heard
pale.
this gossip,
She
they all
subconsciously
came
wanted to
to
run
her
away.
for confirmation.
But Su
This
Che
would make
grabbed her
Ran
wrist
think that
and
Sheng
subdued
Bowen
her.
was doing this
Tang
for Ren
Yin
Yufei.
brought Mu
That was why he
Chi
had
and
to
the others
distance
out of the car
himself from the
and walked to
relationship
Sheng
between the
Xiao
two of them
under the
on
faint
such an
light.
occasion.
Sheng
He didn't
Xiao
care
sat
at all
in the
that
back
it would
of the car
embarrass her
in a brown
Sheng
coat.
Bowen brought
his
Ren
slender
Yufei
legs
around to
stepped
get to know
on
the
the stone
people.
outside
Seeing
the
that she was
car.
tired from
At
standing,
that moment, he let her
everyone
go to
looked at
rest
him and
Go
felt
sit
that
for
he
a
was
while
as tall
and
as a
eat
giant.
something.
On the
There's
other
still
hand,
some time before
they were
the banquet.
surprised that a domineering
Otherwise,
CEO
you'll feel
like him
even
had
more
such
uncomfortable
powerful
later.
investigative
Ren
abilities.
Yufei ran
The things
for
you want
her
in the
life
trunk and went to the
Tang
rest area
Yen asked
because she
Officer
felt
Long
that the
to
gazes
go
around
forward
her
to
seemed to
confirm,
be on her,
and found that the
at
black
this moment
bag
was filled
who
with
ran took
computers
the
or
opportunity to
equipment.
sit
The
beside
police
her.
almost
Who
searched
ran
the
came over on
entire
purpose.
Jianchuan to find
Secretary
the computers
Ron.
of the 8 victims.
Miss Hu,
I know. They did not
Back
expect
then,
these
you were
computers to
Shang
be
Kai's
hidden in the
pawn by
murderer's home.
third brother's side.
When Lin Yukuan's
I just didn't
wife saw
expect
this,
that you
she
haven't
could
been
only
chased
close her
away
eyes in
by
despair.
third brother yet.
Take the people
who Rant's
and the
words were
things
a
away,
little impolite.
Tang Yen ordered.
Do you know?
The
Your
people
presence
and the
tonight
things were
made
all
me
kept in
very
his bag.
embarrassed.
Then
Everyone came to
Tang
ask
Yen
me if
walked
I
up
was
to
dumped,
Shang Xiao
if I was
and
cheated on,
extended his hand.
and who you are.
Thank you for taking
I'm
care
sorry
of me again.
CEO
Ren Yufei
Shang
apologized.
Shang Xiao looked
Although
at
she
Tang
did not
Yan's
know why
outstretched
she was
right
apologizing.
hand and
However,
smiled faintly.
as a secretary,
Captain Tang,
her
you know why I'm
professionalism
helping you.
reminded her
Then to take
it
a
all
step
thanks
back.
to Chi.
If you
I'll
still
leave
want
the
to
rest
accompany
to
third
Captain
brother
Tang.
to such an
I
occasion
hope that when
in
the truth
future
comes to light,
then please
I'll let
check
you
who the
know.
guests will be.
After all,
only then can
Zhongting
you help
is a
third brother
sanctuary.
avoid embarrassment.
I have to get the public
Otherwise,
relations department
how
busy.
sad would it be to be like
Xiao
tonight?
tee up.
It was my
Comma
negligence.
Xiao
Run
up.
Yufei
Of
replied with her
course.
head lowered.
I will to the
Being a
company.
secretary
You.
is your job.
Of the
I
company,
believe that I
of
don't need to
Yuf
teach you
the
what to
same.
do.
Of
After
the
saying
company.
that,
Everyone
Everyone got up
retreated,
from Ren Yufei's
and
side
Chi
and
Chi
returned
got
to
in her
Papa
car.
Hu's side.
Only then did
She was here to
Officer
vent her
Long dare
anger,
sigh.
to vent
Isn't
on
this
the secretary.
CEO,
Although she didn't know why
too
she was
amazing?
so
At
angry.
this time,
However,
Officer Long
who
finally
ran
did
did
not
not
feel how
Isn't
innocent
the
Ren
CEO
Yufei was at all.
Shang too amazing? Why do you think that idiot
Ren
Ren
Yufei
was indeed
is
a
so
secretary?
obsessed with a man.
But she should not be
Feng
humiliated
Shanshan
and
snorted
trampled on
and
like
pointed
this.
at her head.
Therefore,
Because he has
she
a
hid in the
terrifying
dark
brain.
and held back her
Why do you
tears.
think that idiot Mu
Shang
Chi
Bowen did not
so
notice this
infatuated
moment.
with a man?
It was when the banquet
The scene
was
of
about
Captain
to
Tang
end
that a
and
female
CEO
member of
Shang
his friend's
together
family
just now
said to him,
was so shocking.
Chief Shang,
A powerful
you really
man
don't have
indeed
any
has an
tender
amazing
feelings for the
magnetic
fair
field.
sex.
Feng
Your
Shanshan
secretary has
could
been
not
hiding
deny
in a
this.
corner and
Shang
crying
Xiao was used to
secretly
being
several
strong.
times.
So Feng Shanshan
You didn't even notice it
did
once.
not find it strange at all.
After Shang Bowen
What
heard
surprised
this,
her, he was
that when
stunned.
Tang Yen
I don't quite
and
understand
Shang
what you
Xiao
mean.
stood together.
You divorced
They
who
actually
ran,
gave
but
off
you
an
brought your
oppressive feeling
secretary
that they were
as your
evenly
female
matched.
companion
In the night,
without making
3
it public.
cars sped back
You
to
explained
the police
along
station,
the way, and
Su Che
saved the
drove behind the
secretary's
2 police
face,
cars.
But you slapped
Shang
Miss
Xiao's
Xiao's secretary.
She's a
sat
dignified
beside him,
young lady,
not daring
so
to move.
naturally,
She had to find
tell
trouble
me about
with
how
your
you solved the
secretary to
case.
vent her anger.
I'm dying of
Shang
curiosity.
Bowen was naturally
Shang Xiao
lacking in
hugged
this
the woman
regard.
who was jumping
However,
up and down
under his
and
friend's
pressed her
reminder,
hands down.
He found
You'll
Ren
know when we
Yufei
get to the
and
police
saw that
station.
her eyes were
Is there
indeed
anything you
red.
can't do?
So Mu
She
Chi
immediately
Chi
said,
almost knelt
"Let's
down
go first,
and
but the
offered her
banquet
knees
is
to
only
Shang
halfway
Xiao.
through."
This man was
Ren Yufei
indeed
said as she
invincible
looked at Shang
in
Bowen.
everything he did.
There's no need to
Shang
force
Xiao
yourself.
reached out
After
and
saying
plucked the
that,
leaf that
Shang
had fallen
Bowen
into
took
Mu
Ren
Chi Chi's
Yufei's
hand.
hand.
His
I didn't ask
expression
you
was
to
very
accompany
calm.
me to let you be
I
bullied.
can't give birth.
This is equivalent
even
to
if you
slapping
can,
me
I
in the
can't bear
face.
to. It'll
Shang Bowen
damage
was
your
angry.
wise and
Although he did
divine
not know
image.
why,
This thing did
logically
not know
speaking,
how
who
painful
ran
it
was
to
his
give birth.
ex-wife.
So he
Speaking
should
of this
stand
topic,
outside.
Shang
However,
Xiao
really
at this
wanted to
moment,
invent
Shang
and
Bowen
research a
only
device
felt
that
that
could
who
allow the
ran was
husband
no
to bear
longer
the
the
pain
who ran he
when a
knew.
woman gave
Or
birth.
rather,
Soon, he had
the 3
never
cars
really
arrived
understood
at the
who
Jinchuan
ran.
branch office.
She had suffered for 2
At that
or
moment,
3 years.
Lin Yukuan's
Why did she
wife
lose her
was
original
escorted out of the
kindness
police
now that
car
her life
in a
was
sorry
better?
state?
Shang Bowen
Officer,
did not
please help me
understand.
take care of my daughter.
CEO Shang,
My daughter
are
is
you
alone
leaving?
at home.
Third brother,
Xiaolong,
are you
go
leaving?
pick up her daughter.
Shang Bowen
Don't
turned
alarm
around
Lin Yukuan
and saw
for
who
now.
ran behind him.
Tang Yen instructed.
So he grabbed Ren
Lin
Yufei,
Yukuan's
even
wife
tighter,
was most
and said
worried
who
that her
ran.
daughter was
The
now
news of the
taken
divorce
care
will be
of.
published in the
She
newspaper
finally felt a
tomorrow.
little comforted.
It's my fault for
Immediately
causing
after,
you inconvenience tonight.
Shang Xiao
After
and Mu
saying
Chi
that,
pushed
Shang
the door
Bowen
open
pulled
and got
Ren
out of the car.
Yufei away from the
Please,
banquet.
CEO
Rant's
Shang
expression was
Tang Yen
very
arranged
ugly.
for old Shang
Although she did
to
not
take
know
Shang
why
Xiao's
she
statement
was
while
so
he directly
angry,
brought the black
she even
bag
felt
to
that
the
she did
technical
not
team.
know the current.
Analyze these
When
things.
Papa Who saw this,
Then
he
entered
patted
the
his daughter's
interrogation
shoulder.
room. I told you a long time ago that Lin Yuquin's wife had already been handcuffed. You're already divorced. Her expression was very anxious. Now you're starting to be jealous as if she still wanted to struggle. I'm jealous. However, then why did you go and directly place the photos of the 8 dead people in front of her? Ran could not reply. I know you're still because she did not know what was wrong. I'll wait for you to speak. Although Mu Chi-Chi's words last time had made her understand a lot. These 8 people, when she really saw their relatives, she felt that she could not control herself. Tang tapped his fingers on the other side and asked Sheng Bowen pressed the button for the highest floor of the hotel. They committed suicide. It has nothing to do with us. Previously, it looks like you're not ready to explain. Happy. I said it's okay. Now that such a thing I can wait for you. He naturally had to care about other people's feelings. You'll explain the details. I didn't do it on purpose. Otherwise, how will you have the face to explain softly? 8 because Sheng Bowen was lost their lives because of your trashy scam websites. You even deprive them of their. I'll show you the most beautiful. Put them on the internet for people to watch. Sheng Bowen booked the top floor and
Lin
asked the
Yuquin's
waiter
wife
to decorate
burst
it
into
very
tears.
romantic.
We
When
didn't want to
Ren
kill them.
Yufei
That was
saw
their own
the candlelight
choice.
dinner, she finally smiled and felt a
Chapter
little helpless.
686.
CEO,
I want to see Lin
I'm
Yuquin.
just your secretary.
Otherwise,
to
I
me,
won't say anything.
You're the hero who
Up to you.
accompanied me
After
through
Tang
a
Yin
difficult
said
situation.
that, he walked out of the
Bowen
interrogation
explained
room.
as he helped
This was
Ren
because
Yufei
he
sit
knew
down.
very well
But
that
if people
Lin
find out that we're on the
Yuquin
top
and his
floor,
wife
it will cause
had
a
no humanity
misunderstanding
at all
to
what
be able to look down on
misunderstanding?
eight lives.
Misunderstanding
They were just
that
demons who
in
ate
that
human
kind of relationship.
corpses and bones.
Ren Yufei's
This
face
kind of person
turned red
was
again,
usually
and she
cruel
felt
and
uncomfortable.
antisocial. Moreover, their psychological quality was extremely
Chapter
strong.
698.
They could constantly deal
Ren
with
Yufei
you.
thought of her background.
Is she not
and
willing
could
to
not
say
help
anything but feel
Feng
inferior?
Shan saw Tang
Thinking
Yin
about
come
how
out and
difficult
quickly
it was
went
to
up
walk the
ask,
path of
I'll
a
go to the
wealthy
technical
family.
department first.
She reminded
and
herself
see what they've
very
researched.
clearly.
Tang Yan's
Even if
expression
she
was a
really
little
liked
cold.
the president,
Feng
she
Shan
only
knew
like him.
that he was in a bad
She could
mood.
not have the
So
thought
she
of
nodded.
marrying him.
She
ahead.
really could
Looking
not
at Lin
afford such a
Yuquin's
beautiful
wife's
dream.
appearance.
Therefore,
She was really
not long
delicate
after sitting
and
down,
graceful.
no one would
Yufei
have expected
said
such a
uncomfortably
person to be
one of
president.
the suspects.
It's already
in a
very
crime of
late
fraud.
tonight.
Soon,
I've seen the night view.
Officer Long
I'll go
brought
home
Lin
first.
Yuquin's daughter.
I have to
the
wake up
police
early
station.
tomorrow.
When Lin
Are you
Yuquin's
in such a
wife
hurry?
saw this,
I thought you'd be happy.
she immediately
Ren
burst
Yufei
into
held back her
tears.
excitement.
Even
and
so,
smiled. I'm
she
indeed
gritted her
very
teeth
happy
and refused
Thank
to
you
say
for
a
your
word.
hospitality.
Murder,
President, fraud,
After saying
cybercrime.
none
Ren
of this
Yufei
had anything
stood
to
up
do with her
and
bowed
She seemed to be an
slightly
innocent
to
woman.
Sheng Bowen.
She had been brought
Then,
here by the vicious
she quickly
police
left the top
and
floor
endured
as if she was
inhumane
escaped
torture.
She could only get
She had
close
even been
to
separated
Sheng
from her
Bowen
daughter
when she was his
at this
secretary.
moment.
She must be
Otherwise,
thinking like
she would
this.
not be worthy of the
Sheen
president.
Sheen,
If you
Bowen
refused to
was a little
confess,
helpless.
you won't
and
be
a
able to
little
hug your
disappointed.
daughter.
This was
The
the first time he
interrogating
wanted to
police
invite a girl to
officer
see the
said,
night view.
I'm innocent.
But he did not
You
expect
police
that.
officers arrested
Forget
me
it.
randomly.
Perhaps he was really
Those 8
destined
children
to be
committed
alone
suicide
in
on
this
their
life.
own.
As
What does it
Shao
have
Chi
to
had
do with
said.
me?
Therefore,
I want to see my daughter.
Sheng Bowen
Let go of
finished
me.
his candlelight
If it
dinner
weren't for my
alone
current
on the top
identity,
floor.
I would
But
really
then
want to
he
slap
still
her
called Ren
and
Yufei.
hit her against the wall.
Secretary
I can't
Ren,
even buckle her down.
President, I'm already
Feng
home.
Shan,
I'm not
almost
asking
went
you to come out for
crazy
dinner.
with anger when
I just
she
want you
saw
to
this.
remember to communicate
There's no
with the
need.
public relations
After being
department
arrested,
tomorrow.
criminals
and
always
announce
have
the
to act
news of my
shamelessly.
divorce with who
They have to
ran.
pretend to be
Sheng
innocent,
Bowen
put on
said
and
helplessly,
act.
and pretend
Secretary
to be
Ren
pitiful.
realized that
Aren't
she
these
was
all their
too
tricks?
nervous. Mu
And
Chi
quickly
crossed her
reminded
arms
herself
and
to be
said,
calm.
"Don't worry.
Okay, I understand.
The dead really can
That's
speak."
it then.
With that,
the evidence
Sheng
that
Bowen
Lin
hung up.
Yuquin's wife
Secretary
wants to
Run
destroy
sat on the
is
bed,
the best
as if
last
she was
words
an
left behind by the
unforgivable
dead.
sinner.
How
She
did you
could
even
even
harden her
find
heart to
all
reject
this evidence.
a good person
I want to know
like
too.
Sheng Bowen?
Mu Chi
After
shrugged.
watching the night
At the
view
moment,
alone,
Sheng
Sheng
Bowen
was
left
taking
the
a
top
statement
floor of the
in the
hotel.
break room
However,
of the police station.
when he returned to
To
the
tell the
Sheng
truth,
family's home,
the
he
police
saw
felt
who
that they
Rand's
had
car
never
parked at the
entertained
entrance of the
such a
Sheng
noble
family's
man.
home.
But
Sheng
very
Bowen got out of the
quickly,
car.
he
and knocked
explained the
on
cause of the
Rand's
matter
window.
and gave the
Why didn't he
police
go
what
in?
they wanted to know.
Our
the
identities
most.
are different.
After old
so it's
Sheng
not
heard this,
convenient.
he could not
Who
help
ran
but
smile.
sigh.
I came to you for no
Sheng,
other reason.
It's really
than
a
to
waste
hope
that
you
you're
can
not a
announce the
criminal
news
police
of our
officer.
divorce later.
When my business
now,
can't continue,
my father has
I
a
can
very
consider
important
giving it a
project.
try.
The partner
CEO
only
Sheng,
agreed to
are you
sign the
kidding me?
contract
Old
because of my
Sheng scratched
relationship
his head
with
in
the
a
Sheng
daze.
family.
Everyone
If the
knows
news
that
of
you're
our
a
breakup
business
gets out,
genius.
the cooperation
Are you done
might
recording?
fall through.
It's over.
Who ran?
It's over. I know this has
CEO
caused you a
Sheng,
lot of
you can leave now.
inconvenience.
Old
Who
Sheng
ran
quickly got
was
up
a little apologetic
and walked Sheng Xiao to the
Can you
entrance
please
of the
give me
police
another month?
station. For the
At that
sake
moment,
of our past
Mu
friendship,
Chi came up
Who
to him
ran?
and kissed
I
him
once
on the
helped
cheek.
you, and you
I
also
still
helped
helped
me.
me.
Do you
I
want to go
always
home
thought
first?
that after the divorce,
I'm reading some
we
documents
should be
in the
even.
car.
If
Why
it was
don't you
any
watch
other
in the
day,
lounge?
I might
The
have
lights in the
agreed
car
to
are
it.
so
What's
dim,
one more month?
and it hurts
But
her
now
eyes.
I don't want to do it. After Mu Chi said that, she leaned closer to
When will
Sheng
you sign a
Xiao
contract?
and continued.
Sheng Bowen confirmed.
I can see that once you
I
made
can
your
only
move,
wait until the
a
day you
large
sign
number
a
of your
contract.
fans immediately appeared.
If
in
we
the police
divorce
station.
right after
they really
signing
want to
the
get close
contract,
to their idol.
the
other party will think
about
that we
you?
have breached
Are you
the
kidding me?
contract.
Of
course,
Rand's tone
I'm
was a little
completely
anxious.
devoted to you.
Not even
Mu
for a
Chi
month.
blinked
Or
at Sheng
is it that
Xiao.
you already have someone
Wait
you
for me.
like?
Sheng
so you need to
Xiao
take
shook
care
his
of him?
head helplessly.
It doesn't doesn't matter.
In the end,
Tell me who it
he
is,
could only
and I'll
ask
help you
Su
explain.
Che to take
After
out
all,
all
I
the
also want to see you
documents while he
happy.
sat in the
How
lounge
about
of the
this?
police station.
I'll ask
Today,
Xiao Qi.
he could be considered
You know that I'm a
open
weak
and
person.
above board.
I can't make
At
a
that
decision
moment,
on
the technical
such
department
matters.
was repairing
After
the broken
saying
computers.
that, Sheng Bowen took
However,
out his phone.
the results
and
were
called
not
Mu
that
Chi-Chi.
fast.
This made
Captain
Rant's
Tang,
expression change.
It might take a night to
She did not
recover
expect
here.
that Sheng
Tomorrow
Bowen would
morning,
actually look for
the
his
people from the
sister-in-law
technical department
because
will
of such
submit a
thing.
report to you.
Could he not make his own
Tang Yin
decision?
nodded,
Even
and
so,
patted his subordinate
who
on
ran
the
had already
shoulder.
said it. Thank
It
you
was
for
not
your hard
good for her
work.
to take back
It's
her
not hard at
words.
all.
She
We
could
also
only
want to
wait
catch
for
this
Sheng
brutal
Bowen to
murderer.
pick up the phone.
After
Tang,
Then,
Yin
Mu
finished
Chi-Chi's
walking
voice came
through
from
the
the
technical
phone.
department.
Xiao
He went to the
Qi,
chief's
are you
office to
asleep?
apply
I've taken
for a
up some of your
search
time.
warrant. He wanted to conduct a thorough
Mu-Chi-Chi
search
was
of
still
Lin
lying
Yuquan's
on
home.
Sheng Zhao's
However,
body.
the technical
Reading a book.
department did not
like
have
this.
any concrete evidence.
Sheng Bowen
so
told
the chief did
Mu-Chi-Chi
not
about
agree.
who Rant's
When you get the
intentions.
report from the
He
technical
pretended to be
department
as
tomorrow
white
morning,
as a sheep.
you can come back.
I can't make up my
and
mind
mention it to me.
now.
Chief,
Can you give me some
we
advice?
can apply for a search
On the
warrant
other end of the
tomorrow,
phone,
but
Lin
Lin
Yuquan
Yuquan looked at her
must be
phone
summoned
in
immediately
confusion because
after
he will soon
confirming that it
realize
was
that his
Sheng
wife
Bowen.
and daughter are
She
at the
wondered
police
if this
station.
person had
If he
taken
runs
her own
away at
medicine.
that time,
But when she
it will
thought
be
about
difficult to chase
why would
after
Sheng
him.
Bowen call her
After
for
the
such a
chief
thing?
heard this,
There must
he
be
nodded.
something fishy.
You can bring him
Do
back
you want
for
me to tell the
interrogation,
truth?
but if the
Of course
technical
I want you to tell
department
the truth.
doesn't have any
Since it's in the
concrete
past,
evidence, you should
cut it
release
off
him
quickly
immediately
and
when
look
the time is
forward
up.
to the future.
Understood. Although I really
Cybercrime
hope that
was
Miss
different
Who
from
can live
other
a good
crimes.
life.
She didn't tell
Finding
you
the
about
murder
this in
weapon
advance.
and finding
She
the
just took
fingerprints
advantage of
might
your
be enough
relationship
to convict
that
no
no
longer
longer
exists.
But
So,
cyber criminals
I don't think
were
you need to
cunning
get
and
involved
full
in this
tricks.
mess.
Moreover,
After the divorce,
they often had
you should live your own
skills.
life.
Your
After
thinking
all,
speed couldn't
Miss Who
keep
doesn't
up
want
with
to
her
stay
hand
with you
speed.
forever, right?
Then,
Tang
Sheng
Yin
Bowen
walked
nodded.
out of the chief's office
You're right.
and
In
arranged
fact,
for his
Sheng
subordinates
Bowen
to bring Lin
deliberately
Yuquan
turned up the
to
volume
the
of the
hospital
call
for questioning,
so that Hu Ran
of
could hear
course.
him.
He also
After
saw
Hu Ran
Sheng
heard it,
Xiao
her
sitting
face
in the
suddenly
lounge.
turned red.
So he walked over.
I understand what you mean.
CEO
Xiao
Sheng,
Ran, have you
I
finished
hope you
your
will
statement?
always be the Xiao
I'm waiting here
Ran
for the
who
little
keeps
one at
your
home.
original heart.
Sheng Xiao
Having
replied.
said that, I
Sheng
heard that the
Bowen hung up the
interrogation has
phone
encountered
and
a
returned his
problem.
car. That's right.
Then he drove straight.
Although
into
we've
the Sheng
obtained the
family's
deceased
house.
computer,
As for
and
Hu
the
Ran,
people in the bureau
she
have
closed the car
verified
window with a look
before
of
we find
shame
any
and
concrete
indignation.
evidence of the
Was Sheng
relationship
Bowen
between
really
Lin Yuquan
stupid and the dark
or was he
abyss?
pretending to be crazy?
Even if we bring him
She
back
was a
for
little
questioning,
confused.
he can only
After
be
entering the
released when the
house,
time is up.
Old Master
I believe in your
Sheng
technical
pulled Sheng
department.
Bowen to
Sheng
the side,
Xiao
said
I
calmly.
just heard from the butler
In
that
that
you were
case,
chatting with that
CEO
Miss Who
Sheng
outside
can bring
again.
Mu-Chi home.
Why?
After
Are you still
saying
in love with her?
this,
Grandpa,
Tang Yin returned
is
to
your
the
grandson that
interrogation
kind of
room.
person?
Mu-Chi-Chi and Feng Shan,
Although he doesn't
both
have
looked
anything
at the
he wants,
interrogation room.
isn't smart.
It turned out that
and
when
has a
people
low
were
EQ,
shameless,
I'm
they
not
could
so
overturn
bad
their
that I have to
own
pretend that
confessions
nothing
time and
happened
time
after
again.
someone dumped me.
They could
and
frame
stick to
others.
Your
And they could act
grandson
shamelessly
also has
in all
dignity.
kinds of ways.
Besides,
I really don't
you
know
like
how her
Secretary
daughter
will
will
feel
after
when she
old
learns
Master
that her
Sheng
mother
heard this.
is such a
He
person.
immediately
Today's
understood.
interrogation
After all this
definitely
time,
won't
you have a goal?
end easily.
Do you object?
You should go back.
What rich girl?
Tang Yin
If I don't
said
turn
as he
around,
walked to
I'll
Mu-Chi's
kick you
side.
out.
So,
Mu-Chi
it's
looked
better
at
to
Lin
find a
Yuquan's
steady
wife.
and
I'll be
not.
satisfied if she can
Remember to
treat you
contact me
sincerely.
if there's any progress.
I'm warning you.
Okay.
Don't give me a divorce.
Feng Shan
and then
promised
remarry.
her.
Old
Mu-Chi
Master Sheng
quickly
pointed his
walked
walking
to
stick
Sheng
at Sheng
Xiao,
Bowen,
and the
and
two of
warned
them
him.
quickly
It's impossible
disappeared
for
from the
me.
branch office.
Although I don't have
At
any
that
other
moment,
strengths,
Old Sheng
I'm
ran
very
over
strong-willed
and said to Tang Yin,
Sheng Bowen
"Is
promised.
this CEO?
I've already
Sheng
asked
really not a
Secretary
god?
Run to
How
announce
does he know
the
more about
divorce
criminal
tomorrow?
psychology
That's not
than
bad.
the police?
Old Master Sheng
How did he
was
force Lin
satisfied with the
Yuquan's
answer.
wife
Sheng
to
Bowen
lose her
smiled.
patience?
The difference
Comfort,
between his grandfather
inducement,
in the past,
psychological
and
suggestion
now, was not
through
just
these
a will.
methods, he successfully planted a shadow of fear in Lin Yuquan's wife's heart. With a few
Chapter
words,
699.
he managed to get
Who
important
Ran actually went to
information
look
from
for
Lin
you
Yuquan's
again.
daughter.
Mu-Chi's
He can practically
voice was
read
a little cold.
minds. When I saw her in the past, I really liked
Chapter
her.
6. It seemed like she could
87.
share the joys
After the two of them
and
left,
sorrows with
while
you.
waiting for
However,
Lin Yuquan,
ever since she
Tang
suddenly
Yin
asked for a
walked to
divorce,
Lin Yuquan's
I realized
daughter's
that
side.
some things
He looked
were
at the
just
little
hidden
girl
too deeply
standing
and hadn't been
helplessly on the
discovered.
stool and
She
waiting.
caused trouble for
This was also a
Secretary
breakthrough
Run at the cocktail
Realizing
party
this
today.
problem,
Now,
Feng Shan
Secretary
quickly
Ren
stood
is
in front of
completely
Tang Yin
ignoring me
and said
Sheng
only
Bowen
two
was
words.
a little disappointed.
Let me do it. So,
Tang,
you dragged
Yin
me
was
into the
stunned
water
for a
to help you
second
take
and
revenge,
nodded.
right? Don't scare her.
Mu-Chi rolled
I'm a
her
girl.
eyes.
Hearing
This
Feng
person was
Shan
stupid.
Shan's words
At critical moments,
Tang Yin finally
he could always
couldn't
think
help
of some
but
strange
smile
tricks
because
that
he
made
had
it
it
impossible
impossible
for her to be
After he
angry.
got busy,
Xiao Qi,
all the women in the bureau
although
were
I can't
used as
compare
a
to
man,
third brother in
and
any
the men were
aspect,
used as
I believe
beasts.
that I can still
How could they
act
remember
appropriately.
that she was a girl?
Since we're divorced,
Feng Shan
we shouldn't be
glared
too
at Tang
involved.
Yin.
You'd better
pushed him
think
back.
of a way to
Then
coax.
she stood in
Secretary
front of
Ron.
Lin Xin
She's being made
and said to her,
difficult for no reason.
"Little friend,
if it were
are
me,
you worried
I
about
would
mommy?
definitely leave.
Lin
the house."
Xin rubbed her eyes.
After saying that,
she looked very
Mu-Chi
sleepy
hung
hung up, but she still
Was this
nodded.
person smart or
I
stupid?
want Mommy. She couldn't
Mommy is
figure
talking
out.
to the police
Xiao
inside.
Do you
She'll
know
be
that I
out
was
soon.
tricked by third
Can I
brother?
hug you to sleep?
Muchichi
Can I
propped
see
herself
Mommy
up
when I wake
and
up?
looked at Shang
Lin
Xiao.
Xin
I heard
asked
in the direction
Shang Xiao
of the
appeared
interrogation
very
room.
calm.
She
This
still didn't know
person
what that
actually
place
knows
was
how to
used
use
for.
a borrowed knife.
Then tell me
to
first,
kill someone.
Does Daddy
In the
really
future,
like to play on the
if
computer
Uran
at
wants to
home?
hate someone,
Lin
she'll
Xin was
hate me.
absent-minded
He's too
because
scheming.
children
How is
couldn't
he stupid?
concentrate.
Then,
Muchichi thought
she
about it
answered
now
Feng
and
Shanshan's
realized that
question.
she had really
Yes,
underestimated
Daddy will
third
play on the
brother
computer
Xiao.
for a long time
I'll buy you a
after sleep.
lesson and
What about
remind you
Mommy?
that smart
Is there
people
anything strange
often
about
don't
her?
guard against people
Lin
with mental
Xin
problems. Thought about it carefully.
Was there something wrong
Mommy
with third
always
brother's
coaxes
brain?
me to sleep.
Muchichi laughed
and then goes
out
out to
loud.
play by herself.
Actually, this was good.
After all, she and who ran didn't have much. I have a lot of computers at home. Papa, who definitely didn't rely on his daughter or someone else's background, Feng Shan got the answer and looked up at It's impossible for him to use this as a condition to negotiate. Took away the computers of the This is too risky. Be good. I just think that this might be who Rand's way of keeping third brother. I also have a computer at home and a lot of delicious candy. This is a woman. Your mother will stay here for a while. Put down the documents. She asked me to take good care of you. Carried Moochie. Can you come home with me? What's wrong with Lin Xin? You don't mean what you say. Interrogation room. With that, and then Sheng Xiao left the study and brought the little one to the bathroom. Xin late at night, sleepy. The tormented Feng Shan spent the whole afternoon clearing out her things from the house and said to Tang Yin, "I'll take her house. You work hard. It was all thanks to the money that old Sheng. I'll send someone to send you. Before that, I'm worried about you driving alone." It turned out that it was so easy to leave a home. Instead, it was just a few bags of things, so there was no need to be nostalgic. However, once the moving company Tang Yin was about to ask someone to she would be able to leave this place, and he suddenly received a call from his She did not know why. Lin Yukuin, but at the same time, she felt an inexplicable sense of relief to sleep in the lounge. Lin Yukuin, from now on, she no longer understood Tang Yin's thoughts. The next morning, the movers arrived very early. It would be easy for Lin Yukuin carried her luggage. It was very likely that he wanted to snatch his daughter away. She really did not expect that her relationship would be so short. But now, they could only meet old Chum. That afternoon, immediately perhaps the professor really felt sorry for Feng Shan. So he invited her to his house with such a high sense of investigation. He also wanted to comfort her. Doesn't have a criminal record. Feng Shan told him that after she was preparing for school, gave the order, could not he went straight to the chief's office and applied. The professor could only sigh. The chief, as someone who immediately gave his instructions, he had a feeling that this girl, Yin immediately led his men, might not be able to keep her again. On the same day, Huang Yao announced the divorce of Sheng Bowen when she saw that Tang Yin was about to leave again. They did not give she tugged at the corner of his face at all. Said, "Papa did not think much of it. You don't have to go. After all, stay here making it public would delay his daughter's search. Tang Yin, be good." However, Yin had only used this word on her before. This was a blatant This meant that the two of them were close. Yesterday, in order to trick Sheng Bowen anything and might be a burden if she had made up a lie. She finally However, Sheng Bowen still did not have any scruples, silently directly chose to led the team off. Could it be that he really liked was that secretary to be extraordinary? Did not know why she felt so uncomfortable after Moochie took a shower. She had already laid down. Did she really make the wrong choice? However, could it be that she actually called Sheng Bowen? Lin Yukuin thought of this possibility. Sheng Xiao glanced at the little thing, but now the whole world knew that they were divorced. Su Che to immediately head to Zhongting and you should make some people to secretly guard Zhongting. Third young master Lin Yukuin had nowhere else to go. Could it be that you really like third young master? In a Zhongting That's why you're so uncomfortable. The police would be the first to suspect Zhongting. Dad. But they would also regretting that Lin Yukuin, after hearing not be so stupid. Papa, whose expression changed, the most perhaps because she had not figured out what she was thinking. In the branch office, did not mention Lin Yukuin's wife refused to let go. Who for the next she insisted that the family of three also thought that she had to do with the dark. So he planned to arrange a blind date. When the police asked where the computer came from, in order to prove that she did not like Yukuin's wife calmly, who ran nodded and agreed to meet the person Shan really couldn't stand it anymore. 5 days later, she went to the bureau chief started and asked him to let her try interrogating When Moochie saw Feng Shan, the bureau chief had been up all night. She could not help but catch up with her and ask, "Have you moved?" Let's give it a try and see if Tang Yan's judgment is right. It's near the school. Feng Shan answered with her new textbooks felt a lot of pressure. I feel relaxed. However, you can come to my place after entered the interrogation room. Can you really let it go? In front of Lin I don't force things that don't belong to me. Lin Yukuin, Xiaoqi, do you know? A sneer I used to think that my heart is very strong and can endure a lot of things that others can't. Just because he escaped doesn't mean you're in the greatest support. Coincidentally, but the continuous blows have told me which means that he's tacitly admitted his crime. Feng Shan, as the number one suspect in the suicide bitterly. He's wanted. Lin Yukuin's wife lowered her head again. I know the reality, but I just don't want to accept it. Your daughter told me that you were the one who retrieved the computers of the 8 victims. Moochie, how did you get the Feng Shan? I don't know what you're talking about. Feng Shan raised her hand, and you don't have to go to the laboratory in the future. There's still 5 hours before dawn. You don't need to monitor me. The people from the technical department that's right. Already repaired. A top student like me can't find if you don't speak now. You'll completely when it came to her lose the chance to fight. Feng Shan regained her confidence. This has nothing to do. Let me know if you need any help. I don't need you. Children Feng Shan snorted. You have no right. You better have other friends. As a woman, she did not take noticed that Luo Mingxian after getting along with this person. She would know that she had a definitely sharp tongue, didn't dare to tell Lin Yukuin about the two of them chatted and laughed Feng Shan as they relaxed her posture. On the other
stared
hand,
at Lin Yuquin's wife.
Yin had just
Before
finished his
Luo
mission
Mingxin
and returned
died.
home at night.
He found someone
opened
to
the door
repair the computer
as usual.
However,
He wanted to see
because he
Feng
was
Shan
threatened by
Shan
you
and explained
he
to her,
panicked,
but
and took the
after
wrong
opening the
computer.
door,
Even
he
so,
realized
so
that
what?
there was nothing
You don't
in the
have any
house that
evidence.
belonged to Feng
That's
Shan
right.
Shan. When the computer was brought back, it had already been remotely cleared. However,
Chapter 700.
unfortunately,
Then,
the police
he called
found an
Feng Shan
encrypted
Shan's phone
folder
number
in
and
Luo
found that it had been
Mingxuan's
canceled.
computer.
I thought that I could
Lin
wait
Yuquin's
for a
wife's
warm
expression
embrace
began
when
to
I
change
go home.
subtly. Tang,
You're lying.
Yin threw his
Believe
phone
it or
away
not,
and sat
I'm
on the
guessing
sofa.
that the next
He
7
immediately
computers have
laughed
all been
self-deprecatingly.
handled the same way. I didn't
But since they've
expect
been
that I would
handled,
disappear.
why did
and
you
leave
rush to
without
destroy
saying
them?
goodbye? I've been thinking
At this
about
moment,
this.
Tang Yin was a little disappointed. But a moment
Chapter
later, the
688.
professor called.
All right, are you home?
Let's not talk about
Come over
what you're
for dinner.
panicking about for now.
You're alone now.
However,
anyway. Lin Yuquin
Tang
has obviously
Yin laughed
abandoned you.
mockingly a few
Lin
times
Yuquin's
before
wife
getting up
seemed to
and going to
disagree
the
with
professor's
this.
house.
She believed
in this early
that
spring,
as long as
the
Lin
uncle and
Yuquin
nephew
wasn't
were
arrested,
eating hot
the
pot
police
around
wouldn't
the
be able to
stove.
convict her. Have you
You
contacted
definitely
Shan
don't
Shan?
think so.
She
but
changed her number.
I still have to tell you some
Tang Yin
unfortunate
picked up his
news.
wine glass.
Have you forgotten
drank
that
it
the
in
black
one
bag you destroyed
Look at you.
included
You still
your
feel
husband's
wrong,
computer?
don't you? Lin
The
Yuquin's
professor
wife's
laughed
forehead
and said a
started
few
to
words
sweat.
of sincerity.
Feng Shan
to
Shan
Tang Yin.
carefully
Although it's
observed
very
Lin
pitiful to
Yuquin's
see you
wife.
like this.
Actually,
I really think
Lin
that you
Yuquin's
deserve
computer
this
wasn't in
fate.
the black bag.
What's there to be
But it was
disappointed
obvious
about?
that Lin
Have you
Yuquin's
ever
wife
considered
had
Shan
obsessive
Shan's
compulsive
feelings when you
disorder.
go on a business
When she
trip?
heard Feng
Oh, you're
Shan
back.
Shan mention it,
You're
she
unhappy
didn't
that
quite
you didn't see
remember
her.
if she had
Have
also
you ever
taken
thought
Lin
about where
Yuquin's
you were
computer
when the girl
so
needed
she
you?
started to panic.
You're loyal to
Although
the
it's a little
country.
difficult,
But why
the
should
police
Shan
are
Shan
trying their
sacrifice
best to
her own
decipher.
happiness
Lin
to
Yuquin
highlight your value?
knows that the
Let me tell you,
computer is in the
don't
hands
feel
of the
wrong.
police.
Think about
and the
yourself
evidence is in the
and
hands
ask
of
someone
the
else.
police.
You'd
Do you
better
think he will
remember the
still care about
disappointment
you?
you felt
If we
when
can't
you
find
didn't
Lin
see her when
Yuquin,
you went home,
then we can only
because
sue
that
you
girl was the
first.
same.
I'm just having
People
a
have to
headache.
learn to think
If we send
from
you to
another's
prison,
perspective.
which orphanage
After
should we
Tang
send
Yin
your daughter
heard
to?
this,
Feng
he
Shan
immediately
Shan's
felt that
words
he
were
was
like a
too
sharp
narrow-minded.
knife that stabbed into
Maybe I've
Lin
been too
Yuquin's
tired these
wife's
past
heart.
few days.
Think about it carefully.
Let me tell you,
If
you
you really like
confess,
someone else,
I can still
don't be
apply
a
for
chauvinist.
leniency for you.
Girls don't
If you
fall
insist
for that
on doing
anymore.
things your own way,
What's wrong with them?
then hold on.
They have to wait for
Anyway,
you, respect
even
you,
without your
and cherish
confession,
you. We can
there are a
still
lot of
find
men like
Lin
them out
Yuquin.
there.
It's
After
not just
saying
you,
that,
Tang Yin.
Feng Shan
Uncle,
Shan pretended
forget
to get
it.
up and
Let's stop
deliberately
here for
put on
today.
an act
On
with her
account that
senior
you've
at the
broken
entrance
up.
of the interrogation
After
room.
saying that,
Shan Shan,
Professor
Captain
Tang
Tang
stood up
asked you to
and
watch
took out a
Lin
note
Shan
from his
Shan.
television cabinet.
What are you doing here?
He handed
Her
it to
parents
Tang
don't
Yin.
care about her.
Don't blame me
Why
for
should we
not
care?
helping you.
This is the
hungry.
girl's latest
That's none of my
address
business.
and phone number.
It's not my
Let me
responsibility.
tell you, if you don't get her
to
back
take
this
care of her.
time,
Let her
you're destined
starve.
to be lonely for
Soon,
the rest of your life.
the sound of a child
When Tang Yin
crying
saw the
came
note,
from the entrance
he
of the
quietly put it in
interrogation
his
room.
pocket.
Those cries
Professor
were sharp
Tang saw that he
and made
didn't
people
mean what
break
he
down.
said and laughed.
This almost made
You didn't
Lin
come here for
Yuquin's
nothing.
wife
Did
go
you?
crazy.
All right.
I know
You're
you're
even
bullying
go
a child.
Let's go.
Do you police
Don't
have any
waste your time
hearts?
here.
The police
Tang,
only
Yin
care about
accompanied
the professor
investigating
to
cases.
finish the
How
last
can I have
glass of
hearts?
wine. Turned
The crying
around
continued.
and left the professor's
Lin Yuquin's
house.
wife's
However,
psychological
he would not
defenses
take the
were also
initiative to
collapsing.
find this woman.
She was
He
indeed
wanted her to
cunning,
return to his
but
side
her
on her
only
own.
love
After
was for
all,
her daughter.
this small
It was
courtyard
precisely
still under
because
Feng
of this
Shan's
that
name.
Feng
She
Shan
always had a
Shan
way.
could find her weakness.
On the other side,
The next morning, Feng Shan Shan was still in
after Lin
class
Yuquin.
when she
After
suddenly
leaving the
received a
hospital,
call from the property
Lin
management.
Yuquin had disappeared.
Miss Phone,
Moreover,
come home quickly.
He had deliberately
The water pipe
avoided
in your
the
house
surveillance
is
cameras.
broken, and
One
it's
could
leaking
imagine
badly.
how strong
You have
his
to come
anti-surveillance
quickly to
awareness
deal with
was.
it.
He didn't want to
Feng
hide
Shan
in
Shan
Shan
hid
for
under
a
her
night,
seat,
but
and
it was a
answered the
risky
phone.
decision.
Although she
because
did
he
not
knew
want to
how
return to that
smart Shang
place,
Xiao was.
it seemed that someone
Would
was
Shang
not
Xiao
back
let him
yet.
off?
Then
after
I'll come
causing
over at
such a
noon.
huge
Hurry
ruckus
up.
in Zhongting.
You have to deal with it
Therefore,
quickly.
he directly
Feng
took a
Shan
taxi
Shan
to the
responded
mountainous
and
area
looked at the next
with
class
complicated
schedule.
terrain.
What's wrong?
Muchichi
The
saw
driver
that
had
she was
originally
absent-minded
complained that
and
he did
quickly
not want to
asked,
go to such
"There's a leak at
remote
home."
place.
The property
in the middle of
management
the night.
called me.
However,
Take a leave and go
Lin
back to
Yuquin
deal
had a
with it.
weapon in his
This
hands,
kind of thing can be
which
big
was
or
equivalent
small,
to threatening the
Muchichi
driver.
advised.
Halfway through,
I'll take
he
notes
received
of
a
what you
call
wanna
from
hear.
Old Chung.
Consider it a
Captain
favor
Tang.
from me. I'll
Lin
rely
Yuquan
on
has
you.
another
After
identity.
saying that,
His name,
Feng
is
Shan
Long
Shan
Wenjia.
patted
He
Mu
served
Qiqi's
2
shoulder
years in
and
prison
left through the back
for
door of the
endangering
classroom.
network security.
Then,
After
she
his
rushed back
release,
to the small
he used this
courtyard
identity
anxiously.
to do business
Sure enough,
in H City.
there were several
He has a
pools
lot
of
of
water
unknown
seeping
income
out of the
under his
house in the
name.
courtyard.
Follow the
So,
clues.
she immediately
and
opened
continued
the
to
door.
investigate.
However,
Therefore,
the moment she pushed
Lin
it open,
Yuquan used
she
this
saw
identity
Tang
to establish
Yin
the dark
sitting on the
abyss
sofa
and
without
used
moving.
another identity
So,
to
she
secretly
turned
launder
around
money.
and was about
Get
to
someone
leave,
to
but
interrogate
Tang
Lin
Yin
Yuquan's
stopped her.
wife.
She
Even
has
if
to
you want to
confess, even if
shouldn't
she
you tell
doesn't
me in
want
person?
to.
This
This
was
was
very
probably the
polite
legendary
to just leave.
saying that a
I
cunning
have nothing
rabbit
to
has
say to
3
you.
burrows.
After saying
when
that,
Lin Yuquan's
Feng
wife heard the
Shan
news
was about to leave
and knew that the
but Tang
police
Yin
had
stood
even
up
found
and
out
grabbed
about
her.
Long Wenjia. You don't,
She
but I
also
have a lot.
knew that there was no
Tang
need
Yin,
to persist.
it wasn't easy
Most
for me to make up my
importantly,
mind
she had
to
been
make this
tortured by the
choice.
child's
I
crying
think we
for an
really
entire
shouldn't
hour.
continue. We're
I
not
was the one who
suitable.
took the computers
Feng
of the
Shan
eight
Shan
victims.
pushed Tang
That's right.
in a way.
Yukuin used
the person who
remote
suggested
control
having
to
sex
hack into
was
their
you.
computers.
The person who
and
made me
used
addicted was
viruses
you.
to
The person who made me want to get
coerce
married
the eight
was also
people to
you.
use their lives
Now that you're leaving,
to pay off the debt.
what should I do?
That's because
Tang
some
Yin
perverts
asked
abroad
Feng
like
Shan
to
Shan.
watch this live
Feng
broadcast.
Shan Shan shifted
Feng
her
Shan
gaze
Shan
elsewhere.
and another police
I don't want to
officer
be like
sat
this.
among them.
I'm
and
always on
listened to Lin
tenterhooks.
Yukuin's
You
wife's
don't
desperate
appreciate
words.
anything I do.
They couldn't
To
stand
tell
the
you the
coercion
truth,
and
with
agree
you in this state,
to commit suicide.
I really don't have
They also went
confidence
to
in
the
the
agreed
future.
place
Because you don't
put down
trust
the
me.
computer.
You think I
and
can't
then
do
went to
anything.
the assembly point.
You think I should be
to
locked
commit
up at home.
suicide.
But this
We
isn't what I
provided the
want.
method of
Really.
suicide for them.
After
to
hearing
choose.
this, we chose the
Tang
assembly
Yin was
point
silent
a
for a long
few
time.
days in advance.
It was so long that Feng
Usually,
Shan Shan
we chose a
felt
rented
stiff.
house.
Then
We also
he said,
installed pinhole
"I
cameras
am
inside.
used to being independent. After the live broadcast,
I haven't learned how to
we
get along
emptied the
with women.
camera's storage.
If you have any
All of this was
dissatisfaction with
achieved
me,
by
you can
Yukuin
tell me.
through remote
But
technology.
don't leave without saying a
I really
word.
didn't expect
I can't
the
stand
police
it.
to be so
After
serious.
so many years,
It was clearly
even if I
suicide.
failed a mission.
I also
I
didn't
haven't
expect
felt
the
so
police to
bad.
lock onto my husband
I know
so
that
quickly.
it's easy to change
I thought
a leopard
that even if the
skin,
dark
but I will
abyss
try to
was
learn
discovered and
we could
understand
just
you.
shut it down.
So, after
can
all,
you not give our
it's
relationship
difficult
a
to
death
obtain
sentence
evidence
so
on the internet
easily?
That's why I
This
said that
time,
the police
it was
are
Feng
really
Shan Shan's turn to be
resourceful.
silent.
You husband and wife are indeed very difficult.
At least
to deal
give
with.
me an observation
However,
period.
your husband hid
Feng
in the wrong
Shan Shan
place
did not answer,
and dared to go
but
to
she
Zhongting.
still walked out.
Feng Shan
I'll go
Shan
back to
sneered.
class. I want to
We'll
know
talk
now
about it
if
later.
your husband deliberately
Tang
lured
Yin did not
Luo
force it
Mingxian
because he
into the
knew
dark
that he could
abyss
not
to
be
gamble.
anxious.
He's a good
Let's
target,
talk about
isn't
it
he?
later.
Then let me
There's still
tell you,
room
if
for
your husband
negotiation.
hadn't lured Luo
I'll send
Mingxian,
you.
there's no
Perhaps
need.
you wouldn't have been
I drove
discovered
here.
so quickly.
After saying
Feng
that,
Shan Shan
Feng Shan
told her the
Shan
truth.
turned around.
Those two
and
people from
left the small
Zhongting
courtyard.
aren't that easy.
She
to
suddenly
deceive.
understood what was
Feng
going
Shan
on
Shan
with the
pointed
puddles
at
of
Zhang
water
Shao
in the courtyard.
and Muqiqi.
Because he
Your
had carried
daughter
out an
is
important
still
mission.
so young. Tang Yin got a few days
If
off.
she knew that her parents
So,
were actually
after Feng Shan
murderous
Shan
villains,
left,
he
I
drove
don't
to
know
the
how
entrance
she
of
would face you in
Shangting
life in the
and found a
future.
random coffee
Feng
shop.
Shan Shan
He sat there
said
for the whole
sternly.
morning. Have you
During
ever felt
lunch,
guilty?
Feng
Ate
Shan
lives.
Shan and
Are we used to
Muqiqi
it?
prepared
Lin
to go to the
Yukuin's wife
cafeteria
laughed
together.
self-deprecatingly.
However,
Feng Shan
if it
Shan
weren't for
received
their
a message
greed,
from Tang
they
Yin.
wouldn't have been tempted by
I'm at the
us.
coffee shop outside.
Other people's
Shangting.
greed is
After
not a
Feng
reason
Shan
for
Shan
you
read
to
it,
despise
she turned
other
off her
people's
phone
lives.
and remained
If one day
unmoved.
your
Who cares
daughter
about
is
you?
treated like this,
After you came
how
back
would
from
you
repairing
feel?
the water pipes,
Wei Ling,
you were in a
your
different
death
state.
is not to be
Did
regretted.
Captain Tang
really
come to look for
I just
you?
pity your daughter.
The interrogation of Lin Yukuin's wife went very smoothly. She had
Chapter
already
701.
explained everything.
He said
that
some
needed to be
provocative
said.
words
The chief
and made me
immediately
fall head
gave
over heels
important
for him.
instructions,
Just like what you
and
saw,
issued a wanted
Feng Shan
order
Shan
until
said
Lin Yukuin
self-deprecatingly.
was arrested. Feng
Tang
Shan Shan
Yin had not
said
slept for a day and night.
self-deprecatingly. Other than
So,
tracking down Lin
I'm in a
Yukuin's
state of battle
information.
again.
He also
The note
went
I
to Lin
wrote
Yukuin's
and the
home
oath
to
I
search.
swore before like
This
a
time,
fart.
he really found
Muqiqi
Lin
chuckled
Yukuin's computer
and poked her forehead.
Now, he had all
Accept
the
your
evidence
fate.
he wanted. You have no resistance
Shan
against
Shan
Captain Tang.
told Tang Yin to
I'll
rest.
struggle a little more.
After all,
Feng
his
Shan
health was
Shan
also
felt
very
that she
important.
still needed to
However,
calm down.
at this moment,
Up to you,
they also saw the
wasn't
image
love
of
something that
Officer
could be
Gao
sunny one
leaving in a
moment
car.
and cloudy the
I
next.
really didn't expect
The two of them had
that
lunch together
cybercrime
and then
would have
took
to
a lunch
rely
break
on people
together.
like you who
However,
don't understand
when
the
Feng
internet
Shan
to
Shan
run
went to the
truth.
cabinet to get the teaching materials, she found that her cabinet
Chapter
had been pried
689.
open.
Her
Tang
things
Yin.
were in a mess.
Although I don't want to admit
The first thought in her
you're
mind
still
was
so
Tang Yin,
charming.
but
If you
Tang
get tired of
Yin
this
really
little
didn't
girl
know
one
how to
day,
do
my
such a
arms will be
tasteless
waiting
thing
other
for
than
you.
putting on an act.
This was the last
Therefore,
provocation from
she
Officer
temporarily
Gao.
tidied up her
I told
cabinet
you I like
and
young
returned to
ones.
the classroom
With that,
as if nothing
Tang
had
Yin
happened.
turned around
Now,
and went to the
everyone
lounge.
knew that the
You'll
two
grow
top
old
students
too.
of the Faculty of
Officer
Forensic
Gao
Science
had
had turned
to Feng
from
Shan
enemies
Shan.
to
What
friends
should
who
I
could
do?
talk about anything.
I asked him the same question.
Forget about everything
But he
else.
told me that when
the
I'm
fact
old,
that the two of them were
he'll
not to
already
be
be an old
trifled
man,
with was a
and I'll
well-known
still be his
fact.
girl.
In
Officer
Shangting
Gao
University.
snorted
Under such
coldly
circumstances,
and drove away.
The person
Although
who
she
came
was
to look for
very
trouble with
unwilling,
Feng Shan Shan
a loss was a
should
loss.
not be someone from
She
the
came with her
university.
head held high.
Why'd you take so
and
long?
left with her tail between her
Muqiqi
legs.
saw that Feng
It really
Shan
made
Shan
people feel
took
dejected
half an hour
and
to get the
depressed.
teaching
In in one night,
so
the
she
case
couldn't help but
progressed
ask,
at lightning speed.
"Is Captain Tang
When
here?"
Mu Chi
No.
arrived at the branch
Feng
office,
Shan, all her
shook her
questions
head.
have been answered.
If he's not here now,
all that
he'll
was
appear
left was to
outside the
hunt
school
down
gate in a
Lin
while.
Wei
Mu
Ling has
Chi
already
guessed.
explained the
Feng
place where the
Shan
computer was
tilted her
collected
head and
looked at Mu
details.
Chi.
Now,
This person
we're just waiting
must
to
have been a
arrest
fortune
Lin
teller
Yukoin.
in her previous
I
life.
feel like I've slept for a whole
I'm relieved to
night
see
and
that
missed
you
a lot
seem
of
to have come
things.
back to life.
Mu Chi
You don't know
felt
how
that
to
it was
press.
a pity.
I was a home
What's
today
there to
you
feel
made your
pity
choice.
about?
Since
You
you
noticed
reconciled
Lin
with
Yukoin
Captain Tang
and your
I'll
CEO
worry about
discover
others.
Wei Ling.
Are you
You
some
guys
kind of
provided the
matchmaker?
key to
Feng
solving the
Shan
case.
scoffed. Didn't you also
You have a mole on your
successfully
nose.
pry Wei Ling's
You really look like
mouth
one.
open?
Get lost.
Mu Chi
laughed.
glared
I think
at
after
her.
you followed
In
Tang
fact,
you
old
really
Shing
loved
knew
your
that
family
Bowen
and
could
your
not
country.
handle it.
You've
he
turned
called
over
her.
a new leaf.
Although they still
lost.
disliked each other,
Luo
verbally,
Mingxuan's
she could
uncle
not
has
let the old
rushed
man
over from another
who had
place.
just recovered from
He's in the
serious
autopsy
illness
room now.
come out to meet
You want
her.
to take a look?
A junior.
Mu Qiqi nodded
the old man
and went to the
repeatedly
autopsy
asked her to
room
do
with
so.
Feng Shan.
So,
she
Luo
agreed to go to the
Mingxuan's
Shang
uncle was
family.
dressed in
Of
clean
course,
and tidy
she was
clothes
reluctant.
with a leather
After
bag
all,
on his shoulder.
she and
He
Xiao
wore a pair of
Xiao had
black-rimmed
sworn in their
glasses
hearts that they
and
would
looked like an
never
honest
step
businessman.
into the Shang family
When he saw
again
his
in
nephew,
life.
whom
But
he had
now
doted
the
on
old
for
man
a
had
long
changed a
time,
lot. He
so
couldn't
she
help
made a
but
concession.
feel sad.
Soon,
This
the
child
bell of the
left
last
just like
class
that.
rang. How am I going to
Mu Qiqi
explain
leaned
it
on
to his
Feng
aunt?
Shan
Mu
Shan's
Qiqi
arm
didn't dare to
gloatingly.
go in. She
Stop
stood
pretending.
outside the door.
Let's go
with
out
Feng
and
Shan
meet
Shan.
people.
Anyone
Feng
would
Shan
feel
Shan took a
sad
deep
to
breath
see
and
such
felt
a
a
scene.
little uncomfortable.
Luo Mingxian
You
was led into hell by Lin Yuquan.
Captain
Luo
Tang
Mingxian
said
should have
Feng
had a
Shan
beautiful
Shan.
life.
She felt,
But he was too
she of Feng
close to
Shan.
the devil.
And Captain
He wasn't Lin Yuquan's target.
over
I should
Tian.
let Lin Yuquan
Tang of
have a
Tang.
taste of being
She thought
forced to
over
commit
and
suicide.
over
After
over.
Mu Qiqi said
But
that,
and over
she
again,
mustered up her courage
over
and entered the
over,
autopsy
over.
room.
Over.
Soon, Tang Yin received
Here.
news that a
Over,
body
over,
was
over.
found in the mountains
Over and
near
over.
Jianchuan.
Over phone.
It belonged to a
Over.
taxi driver.
This man
from
must have
company.
done it on purpose.
After the police's
He must have.
investigation,
Before
they discovered
Mu
that the
Qiqi got into the
suspect,
car,
Lin
she saw
Yuquan
Feng Shan Shan
had
looking
hijacked
around
the car and knew
escaped.
that she must be
He had
disappointed.
even killed the
She
driver
finally
to silence
believed
him.
that Captain
After
Tang
carefully
was an
studying
expert.
Lin Yuquan's
Do you think he'll
escape
pester you if you
route,
catch him off guard?
Tang
Yin decided to send the police to catch him,
make you upset,
He had almost
and make you
mobilized
worry.
the entire
He was indeed
police
an expert
force in the branch.
Mu Qiqi,
however,
shook her head
halfway
and got into
there,
the car with a
Tang
smile.
Yin suddenly
Fortunately,
heard something. The man beside her was not
The
such an
taxi
expert.
driver's body was
Otherwise,
thrown on the side of the road.
She felt that her
without
heart
any
would not be
concealment.
able to take it.
This meant that
Seeing
Lin
her
Yuquan
smile,
was in a
Sheng
hurry
Xiao reached
when he
out
escaped.
and pinched her chin.
However,
This
so
was
happy
not in
about?
line with Lin
Share with me.
Yuquan's personality.
I'm
He had
very
left
happy
such
to
an
see
obvious
others
mark.
happy.
So,
Mu Qiqi
before
answered.
entering the mountain
Just to
area,
satisfy your
Tang Yin
matchmaker's
suddenly
needs,
said to
I have to
Xiao,
make an exception
as the
and
vice
go to the
captain,
Sheng family
you
tonight.
lead the team.
CEO
CEO
Sheng was
chase.
unhappy about
I'll
this.
turn around and
Grandpa
return
is
to
looking
the
for
police
me.
station.
You can't let him out,
Captain
can
Tang?
you?
Mu
I suspect
Qiqi
that
asked
Lin
the man with
Yuquan
a frown.
wants to take away the
Suche,
strength
go
of the
pick up the
police
old
force.
Sheng
And then
Xiao
attack
instructed
the branch
Suche.
office.
Otherwise,
Can't he go to the
he wouldn't have
banyan
caused such a
courtyard?
big commotion.
After all,
and left
there
behind
were other
such
people in the
important
Sheng
crews.
family that Sheng
After they
Xiao
left,
did not
there were
want
not
to see.
many.
There was no need to ruin his
backbones
mood
left in the branch
for those
office.
people.
Will
If
Mom
Lin
be
Yuquan
unhappy if you
really
do this?
thought of a way to
I know what I'm
sneak in,
doing.
The
Mu Qiqi
consequences
took a
would be
deep breath
unimaginable.
and nodded.
Okay,
Then I'll listen to
your
Captain
arrangements.
Tang's orders.
Previously,
Tang Yin turned
old
around
Master Sheng had
and
said
said that he wanted
to
to return
meet
to the
old
branch
Master
office.
Shen in person.
At that moment,
After all,
the express
he was the one who
delivery
had done
belonging
wrong
to
in
the
the first
branch
place.
office.
He had to go
arrived
to
at the
him
entrance.
and apologize.
This is Captain
Today's
Tang's
was the
package.
perfect
Someone
opportunity.
come and sign
Most
for it.
importantly,
When
he
Feng
wanted him
Shan
to see
Shan
his
heard that
son.
it was her man,
He was now the
she
chief
was
engineer
puzzled
of
because
Zhongting.
Feng
Feng Shan
never
Shan
bought anything
drove her
online.
car home.
So
However,
she walked over and asked the
halfway
courier,
through,
"Where did
she
this come
suddenly
from?"
lost control
I don't know
of the
either.
steering wheel.
A customer
She
asked
quickly
me
braked
to deliver it
and stopped the
The
car.
courier was also
Then
very
she called
innocent.
Tang Yin.
Anyway, something
Hurry
happened
up
on
and
the way.
sign for it.
Come and pick me
I still
up.
have to rush
Tang
to
Yan's
deliver the
face
next order.
turned red.
Feng
A
Shan
traffic
Shan looked
accident?
at the package
Something
in his
happened
hand
to the car.
warily
I'm
and
parked in the middle of the
immediately
road
called
now.
the other people
I can't
in the
move.
police station.
Call a tow
How
truck.
about this?
Go to the
Put
side
on
of
the
the
ground
road
by
by
yourself.
yourself. I'll
I'll
sign
come
for
over
you right
order,
away, and you can
Why
leave.
the bookcase been
Okay.
pried open?
The courier
Why
put
the
down
car
the
been
item
tampered with?
and waited
Could
for
it be that
Feng
all
Shan
of this
Shan
was
to sign for it.
premeditated?
He did
Feng
not
Shan
realize
Shan
that there might
stood
be
by the
something
side of the
dangerous
road.
inside.
Thinking about
When
the
the courier
scene
was about
just
to
now,
leave,
she felt a
Feng Shan
lingering
Shan grabbed
fear.
his arm.
She had
and
almost
said,
crashed
"Let me
into
give you a
straight
piece of
car.
advice.
20 minutes
In the
later,
future, if
Tang
someone
Yin
wants to
drove
send
to the
something
place
to the
where
police
Feng
station,
Shan Shan
don't
had an
accept the
accident.
order." His face
The
was
courier suddenly
extremely
understood
gloomy.
what
Are
Feng
you
Shan
okay?
Shan meant.
I'm lucky.
A trace of
Nothing
surprise
happened.
and fear
Feng
flashed in
Shan
his
Shan
eyes
nodded
as he ran away.
Get in the car first.
Then Mu
I'll go to the car to
Qiqi
take a
and
look.
the others arrived at the entrance of the branch office and looked at the
Tang
package on the
Yin
ground.
sent Feng Shan Shan to the
Evacuate
car,
everyone
and then went to
immediately.
check Feng Shan
Old
Shan's
Chung
car.
immediately
He found that
said to
not
the
only
people in
had
the
the
hall,
steering wheel been tampered
"Now,
with,
This
but
was the
also
first time
handbrake.
Mu Qiqi
This was done by
and someone.
Old Chang
Obviously,
had encountered
the
such
people
an
who were looking
urgent
for
and
him
dangerous
had come
situation.
and
They
already
quickly
knew
went to
about his
inform
relationship
everyone
with
to
Feng Shan
evacuate
Shan.
from the branch
A moment
office.
later,
At
Tang
that moment,
Yin returned to the
Tang
car.
Yin returned from
His
outside.
expression was hard to read.
Captain Tang,
"What happened?
Don't come in.
Now, whether you're
Old
willing or
Chung
not,
said,
you have
sweating
to move
profusely.
back and live
The
with
people
me."
from the bomb
Tang
disposal
Yin
team
said to
will be
Feng
here
Shan
soon.
Shan.
They're
Tang
out.
Yin saw
They're
the
here
package
to
on the
challenge
ground
me.
and also
Feng
looked
Shan
at the
Shan's
lawn behind the
eyes
branch
suddenly
office.
widened.
Aren't you
Fortunately,
afraid of
this was not a
implicating me?
bustling area.
I'm afraid.
We can't wait for
but
the
I won't
bomb
be at ease no
disposal
matter
team.
where I put you.
The beeping
It's better to
sound
keep
was
you
like
by
a
my side.
life-threatening
I'll ensure your
talisman,
safety,
pulling at
everyone's
least
nerves.
before I die. Feng Shan
Therefore,
couldn't resist
Tang
this
Yin
man.
walked to the package.
This was also the
and
reason
said to
why she
Old
left
Chung,
without saying
"Give me the
goodbye.
knife." She
Captain
knew that as
Tang,
long as she
trust
saw
me,
this man,
give me the knife.
she wouldn't be able to
Old
move.
Chung did not know.
Women just
about
like heroes,
Tang
didn't
Yan's
they?
undercover
Don't
experience.
talk about dying.
At that time,
you said that you wanted
in
me
the
to give
deep
you an
mountains,
observation
the
period.
only thing he had
Now,
learned from the drug
you've
dealers
changed from a
was
real
demoning
boyfriend
and
to a
defusing
backup
bombs.
boyfriend.
Old Chung sighed.
At least I'm still a
and
boyfriend.
handed the knife.
This was
to
enough
Tang Yan.
for Tang
Yan
If it
opened
were
the
any
box
other woman
and saw the
he wouldn't
true
even mention
appearance
a
of the
word.
bomb.
However,
Old Chung,
Feng Shanshan
after
was
evacuating
different.
everyone,
Feng Shanshan
immediately
and
paid
Mu
attention
Chi-Chi
to
were two
Lin
different
Yukuan's
girls.
movements.
He must be around and waiting for an opportunity to take advantage of the chaos.
Chapter 702.
Captain Tang, the two of them returned to their original home.
It was better to
but
watch
they could only
less
stay
movies.
for one night.
Time bombs were
the
not
new place
as scary
you
as one
moved
imagined.
to isn't safe
and there was no
enough.
need to choose
We have to
between the
move
red
to
and
another
blue
place.
lines.
Moreover,
Tang Yan
this was
returned
a
home.
homemade bomb.
The first thing he did
and its power
was to
was
take out
far
his card.
inferior to those
This
of
is
professionals.
all the money I've
It
saved.
could be imagined
since I
that
became a
Lin
police
Yukuan
officer,
had bought it on the
including
black market
all kinds of
last night.
bonuses.
As long
I've
as he
also
found
sold
the
the house
detonator
next
and
door.
removed it,
We have to
the
move to a
bomb would be
safer place.
useless.
What place are
Old
you
Chung
interested in?
sighed.
Feng
Left Tang
Shanshan
Yan
took the card
and immediately
still not
carried out the
understanding.
order.
The place
Feng
with the best
Shanshan
security
was
and
outside the
Jianchuan
branch office.
is the area where
When
your
she
best
saw
friend,
Old Chung come
Mu
out,
Chi-Chi,
she immediately
lives.
asked him,
Of course,
"Senior brother
we can't
Chung,
compare to the
where's
Shang
Tang
family.
He's
But the small
defusing the
houses
bomb.
there are more than
Old Chung
enough."
replied.
All of the
He asked me
residents
to
in that
trust
area
him. Were either rich or respectable or people
Chapter
with power.
690.
In addition, the Shun
After Feng
family was
Shanshan
also
heard
nearby.
this, she almost
so the
broke
security
down.
had to be one of the
She
best.
unconsciously
Do
took
we
a
have
small
enough
step
money?
forward.
You'll
but
know
she was
when you
pulled
check.
back by Mu
After
Chi-Chi.
Tang Yin said that,
Clear your head.
he set up several
Mu
traps in the
Chi-Chi
house
said
to prevent
as she supported
anyone
Feng
from
Shanshan.
sneaking in.
How
in
can
the middle of
Captain
the
Tang
night.
feel at ease
Then,
if you do
he
this?
brought Feng Shanshan
That's not Xing
to take a
Xiao.
shower.
Of course you can be
You're
so
still thinking
calm.
about that at a
Feng
time like
Shanshan
this.
pushed Mu
Feng
Chi-Chi
Shanshan
away.
was a
I
little
only know that
embarrassed
you'll
and
only
angry.
be more of a
She watched
hindrance
as the
if you
man
go.
took off his
Do you think
clothes
Captain Tang
and
won't
completely
die fast
ignored
enough?
her objections.
Feng Shanshan
What are you
didn't
thinking
dare
about?
to move again.
It's just that you have
She
to
just
be in
looked
my
at the
sight
entrance of
at
the police
all
station.
times.
Her
Tang
heart
Yin
was
explained.
completely gripped
Feng
by the man
Shanshan
inside.
saw the wound
At that
on his
moment,
shoulder.
Old
and couldn't
Chung
help but
immediately
sigh.
stood up.
My
and
left
observed.
shoulder was shot
Tang
through.
Yin had
and
said
now my
that
right
Lin
shoulder is
Yukuan
cut.
would definitely
No matter
be
how
mixed in
good
the
your
crowd.
physique
Time
is,
passed minute
you
by
shouldn't
minute,
be torturing
but there was still
yourself
no
like this
movement
in the branch
I'm
office.
used to it.
Tang
At that
Yin lay in the
moment,
bathtub.
Old Chung
and
saw a
pulled
man
Feng
wearing a
Shanshan
black
out.
mask standing
Compared to
under
this,
a banyan tree.
not seeing you
far
when I came
away
home
with a
last
little girl
night
beside
is
him.
more painful.
Therefore, Feng
He
Shanshan
immediately went
didn't say
downstairs
anything
and
and
asked
stayed
the chief,
quietly
who was standing
in
in
Tang
the
Yan's
crowd.
arms.
The chief
A moment
immediately
later,
signaled
the two
to
of
the
them
rest of the
returned to
people
the
to
bedroom.
surround the banyan
Sleep,
tree
Tang
and
Yin
evacuate
said
the
as he
crowd
held
to a
Feng
safe place.
Shanshan in his arms.
Lin Yukuan
There won't
might
be,
have noticed the
don't worry.
police's
Feng
unusual
Shanshan nodded
movements,
and
so
lay
he
on Tang
immediately
Yan's
grabbed
chest.
his hostage.
Perhaps it was
and
because
used the
she
homemade
smelled the
gun he
good
bought on the
smell on
black
his
market
body that she
to
felt
point at
that
the
her
forehead
soul
of a
had returned to
16
its
or
place.
17-year-old
Late at
girl in
night,
his arms.
old Master
If you
Shun
dare to
was
come
brought
over,
to the banyan
I'll shoot
courtyard
her.
by Su Che.
It's a pity that I
Although
didn't
he was
see your
extremely
entire police
unwilling
station
when he
explode.
left,
However,
and kept
it's
scolding
worth it to
Shang
kill that
Xiao
annoying captain
for torturing
Lin
his old
Xinxin
bones.
was in Mu
He couldn't
Chi-Chi's
hide his
arms
excitement
at that
when he
moment.
got into the car.
When she saw her
After
father
all,
threatening
no
the
matter how
hostage,
much conflict
she was
he
so
had with his
scared that
aged
she
brother in
started
the
crying.
past.
He was still
Daddy,
his most beloved
Daddy,
grandson.
when Lin Yukuan
Since they were
saw
discussing
Lin Xinxin,
Shang Bowen's
his
matter,
emotions fluctuated
third brother
a little.
did not
However,
know that
he quickly
Grandpa
calmed
Shang
down.
had gone out
Send my
without the
daughter
Shang
to my
family
side.
knowing.
Otherwise,
After arriving
I'll
at the
take this
banyan
woman's
courtyard
life
right
Old
away,
Master
Lin
Shang
Yukuan
walked into the
Are you
house.
crazy?
Of his
Do
Do you know how
descendants
dangerous
with
it
his
is
walking
for your
stick?
daughter to be by
Although
your
he
side?
never thought that he
Mu
would have such a
Chi-Chi
day.
immediately asked him, I don't care. I have to
After
have my
Grandpa
daughter.
Shang
I'll
entered
exchange
the
with the
house.
hostage in your hands.
Although Mama
Mu Chi
Shang
suggested,
still hated him.
Your daughter
She did
is
not
only
give
a
him a
few
strange
years
look.
old.
She
She cannot
cannot
talk to
withstand
Grandpa
torment.
Shang. I don't
The
believe
one who
you.
had changed the
It's
most
because of
was
you.
Papa Shang.
It's because of
He was
you.
now the chief
You're the one who
engineer
noticed
of
me.
Zhongting.
You're the one who
And his
destroyed
entire
my
being
family
had become
and
heroic
everything.
and extraordinary.
Lin Yukuan, it was as if he was a
extremely
completely
emotional.
different person.
I only want my
I didn't
daughter.
see you care about
Get
third
lost.
brother in the past.
The entrance of the
But
police
now,
station
you're
was
willing to
already
drag
full
your
of
old
danger.
bones to work for
It was
him.
difficult to
Shang
advance
Xiao, wearing
wearing a
retreat.
black
Most
turtleneck sweater,
importantly,
walked
did
down
Tang
from the second
Yan
floor
get rid of the bomb
and
inside?
sat opposite
Give
the
Lin
old man.
Xin to him
Where's
first
Chi-Chi?
and get the
Old
hostage
Master
back.
Sheng did not care.
The director ordered.
Instead, he
asked
actually
him
dared to
casually,
take such a
"Here,
big risk
Mu
to come
Chi-Chi
to the
followed him
branch office to
downstairs
kidnap her
and sat
That
down
means he
beside
really
him.
cares
Mama
about his
Sheng
daughter.
poured tea
Director,
and water from time to
carry
time.
out my orders.
She did not join
The
them.
director said
She still
sternly.
remembered her
What's there to
husband's death.
discuss? How much
Isn't
do you
your
know
captain
about
going to
Third
rescue
Brother?
them?
I want to know if there's a chance between
That bomb
him
cannot
and
be
Secretary
defused.
Run.
Lin
Well,
Yuquan laughed.
Mu Chi-Chi
I hate you police
glared at him.
officers the most. Didn't you pursue a
None of
match
this
in
has
the past?
anything to do with
Because
my
of this
wife.
matter,
You've
arrest
made things
anyone you
difficult for
see.
me.
Moreover,
For a moment,
I don't think my
Feng
background is
Shan
bad,
Shan
but
wished
you
she could
despise
go
me so
forward
much.
and perish together
Girl,
with this scumbag.
Are you going to settle old
However,
scores
at
with me
this
now?
critical moment,
Old
just as
Master
Old
Sheng
Sheng was
also
about to
glared
hand
at
Lin
Mu Chi-Chi.
Xin over.
What I mean
Tang
is that I'm
Yan's
afraid
voice
that
came
you
from
haven't
behind
figured it
everyone.
out yet.
Wait.
After all,
Captain Tang,
Secretary Run
Tang
is
Yin.
just an ordinary
Everyone
Run.
turn around.
Sheng Xiao
saw
quickly
Tang
stopped the two
Yin
of them
coming out
from
with
continuing to
ammunition
mock each
that was
other.
no longer dangerous.
I just want third brother to be
Although
more
his
relaxed
hands
now.
were inevitably
There's someone who
injured.
loves him to take
It was
care
still
of
a
him.
ghastly
I was wrong
sight
about
to
Miss
see
Who.
from afar.
I just want to
that
make it
his
up to him
hands
now.
were covered in blood.
Old Master
Feng
Sheng
Shanshan
admitted defeat.
immediately went up
If you
to him.
sincerely accept
Tang,
Secretary
don't forget what I
Run,
told you.
then it'll be
After
very
saying
easy.
that to Feng
The reason why
Shanshan,
Secretary
Tang
Ring keeps
Yin walked
rejecting
in front
third
of the
brother
director
is
at
probably
that moment because she
all
doesn't
Feng
want to enter a
Shanshan
wealthy
could
family.
think of.
She feels that a wealthy
Yin
family
saying that he would
is
crawl
very
back to her
scary.
side.
Since you
even
like
if he
her,
had to crawl.
Grandpa.
Therefore,
Then find her.
she suppressed her
and treat
worry
well.
for Tang Yin.
Treat her like
and
a
stood beside
granddaughter-in-law.
Muchichi. By whatever
I
she
told you to
lacks,
trust him
and ask
Feng
about her well-being.
Shanshan didn't
Make
say
your
anything
attitude
else.
clear.
But she
You
had to
definitely
admit that
won't
she had
interfere
almost
with
lost
their
her mind
development.
earlier.
Are you sure this will
She
work?
also had to admit
Old Master
that
Sheng couldn't
Muchichi
believe it.
was much
She
better
likes
than her
third brother
in
very
terms of
much.
the overall situation.
But she's afraid of the
Tang
Sheng
Yin
family
walked in front of the
steps.
director
As the head of the
and
family,
gestured for him.
You
to
can
handle
personally
it.
tell her
no
that
one
I
in the
don't
entire
despise
branch
you.
was
Then
more experienced
she'll
than
naturally have a
him
lot
in
less to
facing
worry
these
about.
vicious people.
After hearing
the director
Muchichi's
nodded.
words,
He didn't know what
Old
kind of big
Master
move
Sheng
this
nodded.
guy was holding.
It seemed to
back.
make sense.
In this situation,
Since you say
the
so,
murderer had
I'll
already
give it a try.
provoked the branch
Also,
office. That
It
Miss
would be
Who doesn't
strange
seem
if he
to
could
have
give it
still
up on
endured.
third brother.
I really didn't
Muchichi
expect you to
reminded
come out alive
Old
like
Master
this.
Sheng. Lin
Don't do
Yuquan
something
was
stupid
surprised
again,
by Tang
just
Yin's
because
ability.
someone else
There are
gives
a
you some
lot of
benefits.
things you don't know.
I've already
Tang
died
Yin
once.
pulled Lin Xin
Well, else
Xin
can I
from
get over?
Muchichi's arms.
Old Master
Lin
Sheng
Yuquan
scoffed.
You
at
seem to have
Muchichi's
misunderstood
words.
your situation.
Believe me, your wife,
As long as you
daughter,
clarify your
and
attitude,
even everything about
Secretary
you are in the
Run
hands of the
will
police.
definitely not
You still
reject
dare
third
to
brother
negotiate
again.
with the police?
Old Master
You
Sheng
don't care
patted
about
his
the
thigh.
hostage in my hands anymore.
Lin Yuquan
I'll believe
sneered.
you this once.
Do you believe that I
when
can
Mama
shoot him?
Sheng saw
If you
this
shoot him,
scene,
your
she
family
suddenly
of felt
three
that it
won't
was a
be able to
little
survive.
strange.
You're not that
In the
stupid.
past,
I've already
Old
killed
Master Sheng
so many
wanted
people
nothing
anyway.
more than skin
I don't care if I
Xiao
kill
Qian
one
more.
alive.
But
Lin
now,
Yuquan
in
threatened
name,
the hostage.
he was here to
and
look for
spouted
eighth
nonsense.
brother.
In fact,
What about your daughter?
he spent more time
Tang Yin
talking
hugged
to
Lin
Xin
Muchichi,
Xin and
one
asked
old
Lin
and
Yuquan.
one young. Don't you
Although
care
they were
about your
teasing
daughter?
each other,
She'll understand
Mama
sooner
Sheng could
or
tell that this
later
old man
you're wrong.
still had some
You're a murderer.
indescribable
No one will
dependence
try to
on
understand a
Xiao Qi.
murderer.
Even his
Moreover,
most beloved
you've
eighth
caused such a
brother
big
had to stand
commotion
aside.
that she won't
Since
be able
it's
to live
settled,
in the future.
I'll go back first.
Do you think she'll still
Later
understand you?
assistant sent me off.
Daddy,
He's
Lin
good at driving.
Xin started crying.
Old Master Sheng.
Daddy isn't a bad
named
guy.
Su Che
Daddy
and asked for him to send him
Lin
off.
Yuquan was a
You're
little
going back
distracted
just like that.
Looked very
Not even
nervous.
10 minutes.
Since it's already
It wasn't
like
easy
this,
for Papa
she has
Sheng
to learn
finish
to
his
accept
work
it.
and
What
talk
about your
to Old
wife?
Master Sheng.
What you're doing
How could there be
is
any
equivalent to
overnight
sending her to
hatred
hell.
between father and son?
I still
How
have
can
to
you
go
bear
to the
to do
Shun
that?
family.
My wife.
Moreover,
Where's
I know
my
that
wife?
you become famous
At the mention
and
of
have just Wei
few
Ling.
awards.
Lin
You're more
Yuquan
successful than me.
immediately looked
I've
around.
let you down.
The moment he
Old
turned
Master
his head,
Sheng said
the
this
sniper
from the bottom of his heart.
immediately attacked,
Of course,
and
Papa
shot
Sheng
Lin
was
Yuquan
very
in the
happy
neck,
when he heard
causing
this.
him to fall to
He
the
smiled
ground
like a child.
instantly.
However,
Tang Yin,
when Muchichi
Chief,
heard
this
that
is just
Old Master
anesthesia.
Sheng was going to the
I'm
Shun
sorry I didn't
family,
report it to you
she
beforehand.
knew that he must be
I can
going
understand.
to apologize.
It's an emergency.
After all,
you make
he was
the
the one who
arrangements here.
insisted on
After the
breaking
chief
off the
said this,
engagement between the
he
Shun
immediately
family
ordered his
and the
men
Shun
to
family,
eliminate the security
ruining his
risks
friendship with
at the
Old
police
Master
station.
Sheng.
Although Lin Yuquan had fallen to the ground, the girl he was holding did not dare to move. Chapter 7. I have a bomb on me. If
Tang
she deliberately
Yin gestured
came
for the
to
rest
cause
to
trouble
evacuate
for Sheng
immediately,
and then went forward.
Sheng Bowen
might
be
not
nervous.
be able to get past
I'll
her.
definitely let
Don't
you be
worry.
safe.
The old
In the
thing
blink
is
of an eye,
not like before.
He was in front of the
It's
bomb
useless
again.
even if there
Feng
are 10 more
Shanshan
who ran.
felt that if she
Sheng
followed this
Xiao
man,
put his arm around
her heart would
Muchichi's
stop
shoulder
beating sooner
and turned
or
to
later.
Mama Sheng. Captain
Mom,
Tang,
let's
I'm
go up
fine.
and sleep.
Tang, Yin
Go,
gestured
go.
for her to sit
Mama
down
Sheng knew
and
what Sheng
comforted her.
Xiao wanted to
Don't
do
worry,
when she
I
heard
know
his
how to
tone.
defuse the bomb.
Young people were full
I'll
of
save
fire.
you. It was just that Xiao Qi's body was suffering. The night
Chapter
breeze
691.
blew. Old Master
Everyone
Sheng
held their
arrived at the
breaths,
Shun family,
especially
with Su
Feng
Che's help.
Shanshan.
When Huang Yu
She had
heard
been in the building
that
just
Old
now,
Master Sheng was
but now
here,
she was on flat
she
ground.
quickly went to Old
As long
Master
as she was
Shen's
at a
home.
safe distance,
Dad,
she
could
Grandpa
see
Sheng
Tang
is
Yin.
here. For
Old
dozens
Master
of long
Shen
seconds,
snorted when he heard
her
that.
heart was
this
beating
person
faster than
here
her heart.
to disturb
At
his
that
night
moment,
fishing?
the girl could
However,
clearly see
even
Tang
so,
Yan's hands
he still
trembling.
asked Huang
so she
Yu to
comforted
invite him to the
Tang Yan
pond
instead and put the chair
Brother
down.
police, it's
Old
okay.
Master Shun
Just
walked
do whatever
in
you
slowly
want.
and
If
saw
I
his
really
old friend.
die from the explosion,
Old Shun,
I'll blame
you
on
still
my
angry
bad
with
luck.
me?
If
For
I
you.
survive, it's not
I'll
worth it.
definitely pester
Old
you
Master Shun
to
was
marry
wearing
me
a
in the
straw
future.
hat, and
The
holding
little
a
girl was
fishing
quite
rod.
optimistic.
When Old Master
You
Shun
probably
heard
won't
this,
die.
he knew
But
that
I
this
won't marry
person
you
was not
because I
angry
already have a
anymore.
girlfriend.
It was just
With
that he was
that,
embarrassed.
Tang Yin threw the
I came here today
defused bomb
to
into the
apologize
open
to you.
space.
Otherwise,
and handed it to the
I
bomb
don't even know when
disposal
my
team
old
to deal
bones will
with.
be buried.
Then,
After
he helped
hearing
the girl up
this,
and
Old
handed
Master
Lin
Shun
to his
finally
colleague.
turned around.
At that moment,
You know that you're
Feng
already so
Shan
old,
could not
but
hold
you're
it
still
anymore.
making trouble.
She went
It's your
forward
turn.
and hugged the
Are you
man's
fishing?
waist.
There were so
Fishing.
many people
They were
around.
both old
but
friends.
Feng Shan
They did not have time
could
to care so
much.
much.
As
Tang,
long as
Yin
old
was
Master
stunned for a
Shun
moment,
apologized,
but he did not
old
resist.
Master Shun
In
planned
such
to
an
forgive
emergency,
him.
friends
was
did
always
not
used to
matter in
rushing to
his
the
life,
front and
Why
did
should they
not
be
take
so
care of Feng
calculated?
Shan's feelings.
So, the
I'm
two
fine.
old men
You're
fished
fine.
by the pond
I was scared
until
half
the wee
to death.
hours of the morning.
If something
Old
really
Master
happened to
Shun
you,
simply
would be able to
stayed
take
at the
it
Shun
between the
family's
professor
house.
and me.
It was only
Feng
the next day
Shan
that
rarely
Shun
cried,
Bowen found out
but
that
at
his
that
grandfather
moment,
had gone
her
to the Shun
emotions were
family
complicated
and made up
She
with
could
old
only
Master
use
Shun.
tears to express
However,
it.
when he arrived at
Tang
Huang Yin
Yin
hugged her,
he found out
and
that Secretary
comforted her for a
Ren
moment,
did not come to
even
work
though
at
he
all.
knew in his
Then,
heart
Secretary
that his
Ren's
relationship with
assistant
Feng
told
Shang
Shun Bowen
could no
Secretary
longer
Ren
be
was
hidden in
asked
the
to
future.
leave by the chairman
Captain
early in the
Tang
morning.
and Shan
The president
Shan are a
asks
couple.
you to work in peace.
When did this happen?
Grandpa?
These two are still
He still
playing
hasn't
in the dark.
changed. He wants to
be Captain
President,
Tang's woman.
don't speak
Just
too
thinking
fast.
about it makes me
This
feel
time,
good for
the chairman
Shan
won't
Shan.
make things
Let me
difficult
tell
for
you,
you.
Captain
You just need to
Tang's
focus
nose
on your
is
work.
big and straight.
The assistant
He
revealed
must be very strong
a
in that
meaningful
aspect.
smile. After the
However,
crisis was resolved,
other than making
the men
things
started
difficult for
gossiping.
Secretary Ron.
Moreover,
Shun
they
Bowen
even
really
said some
couldn't
dirty
think
jokes.
of anything else
However,
that the old man would
Muchichi
look
looked at the
for.
scene.
Old
Not
Master
far away
Shun
and
called
laughed.
Secretary
That bastard
Ron
Lin
to the
Yuquin
Shun
had
family.
finally been caught.
When old Master
even though
Shun
he had
saw her,
caused such a
he
big
frowned.
mess before he was arrested.
I'm taking you to play basketball.
The
Why did you
Jinchuan
bring the
branch
little
office
secretary
announced that
along?
the mass
I found a wife
suicide
for
case of
third row.
teenagers that had
Not
lasted
bad,
for a
right?
few days had been
You have
solved.
better taste than
Of
before.
course. The
Grandpa
matter of
Lin
Lin
Yuquin
said,
carrying ammunition
sarcastically.
to the police
After
station
saying that,
to provoke
the two
them
of them
was also
immediately
exposed
laughed.
by the news. While Feng Shan
In
and
fact,
Muchichi
Secretary
were
Ren was
lovey-dovey.
also very nervous.
What she did not know
She had
was
no
that she was
idea
about
what
to
the
be in
old
big
man was
trouble.
going to do.
After Lin
Meanwhile,
Yuquin was
Muchichi
arrested,
had arrived at
everything
school.
became smooth.
However, because
she
the
felt
police
that
were able to
everyone was
fully
looking at her
grasp
weirdly
everything
the
about the
moment
dark
she
abyss.
stepped through the gates.
This bastard,
especially the
in the early
pedestrians
years,
on the road,
there were still
it seemed
some
like they were
people
talking
who
about
lost
her,
their lives.
but it also
It's
seemed
just that
like they
technology
weren't.
wasn't
When she entered the
developed at that
classroom,
time.
she saw
So,
a huge
it was hard to
banner
find a
in the
real
classroom.
culprit. There was only one sentence.
Now
on
that
it.
we've caught this
Feng
bastard,
Shan
it's enough
is
for
a
him to be
whore
shot
who
10
can sleep
times
with
over.
anyone. I'll leave
Her
the
private
rest to you.
life is
Tang
extremely
Yin
messy.
patted his colleague's
She even had an
shoulder.
abortion for a
I still
rich
have to go to the
second-generation
director's
heir.
office to apologize.
She didn't know how the other
If it
party
weren't for
was
Captain
so
Tang
resourceful
today,
that they even
many
got
people
Feng
would have died
Shan's
here.
ultrasound
I really didn't
data
expect
in the
you to
hospital.
know how to defuse
Muchichi's
bombs.
first reaction was to
Tang
call
Yin did
Feng
not
Shan
explain and
Where
went
are you?
straight to the director's
I'm at the school
office.
gate.
What's
Director,
wrong?
don't come
Okay.
in.
I understand what you
Muchichi's
want to
most
say.
direct
Now
reaction
go and look
was
at your
to protect
hand.
her friend.
You're going to get married.
Anyway, don't
Why
come
are you
in.
still rushing
I'll see what I can
forward
do.
so
The more Muchichi
recklessly?
said this,
Tang Yin did
the
not
more
say
curious
anything
Feng
else
Shan
and walked out of the director's
So,
office in a relaxed
She quickened her
mood.
pace.
Feng
and entered the
Shan was
school,
waiting at the door,
only to see
her eyes
everyone
red.
pointing at her.
Captain Tang,
Feng Shan
she's so worried
ignored
about
them
you.
and
Don't
entered
you
the
have anything
classroom
to say?
together.
Officer
Finally,
Long could
she
not
saw the
take it
banner at the
anymore
back of the classroom.
and pushed
Of
Feng
course,
Shan.
Muchichi
Tang
had
Yin
already
caught her
torn off the
and said
ultrasound
to everyone,
photo. So
everyone,
Feng Shan
you've worked
didn't
hard.
see it.
When the case is
I told you not to
completely
come.
over, you should
I'll
have been
treat
obedient.
you to a meal.
Muchichi
But today
immediately walked
eat?
over and
The two of
blocked
you actually
Feng
didn't tell
Shan's
anyone
view.
about such a big
I know
thing.
why. When the time
Yi
comes,
Zichen said,
you have to
Does
explain
Captain
it in
Tang
detail.
know?
About
Captain
the
Tang,
child, you've been
Feng
a straight man
Shan
for
nodded.
10,000
He knew
years.
about it and didn't
I can't
mind.
believe you can still
That's
find
good.
a girlfriend.
Take a day off.
Tang Yin did
Feng
not agree.
Shan was
He
about
let
to answer,
Feng Shan
but the
support
dean
him.
entered the
And
classroom
the two of them
and
walked out
said
of the
to
branch
Feng
office.
Shan,
The group of people
"Come to
were
my
envious.
office for a while."
However,
Because this
he was
matter
the
had
captain
already
with
spread
outstanding
throughout
ability.
the entire
He was
school.
tall and
The
mighty.
school had no
and he was also a
choice but to
hero
deal
who
with it
saved the
immediately.
world. It was
Feng
normal for
Shan
girls to
took
like
a
him,
deep breath
so they could
and
not be
followed
envious.
behind the dean.
At this
At
moment,
senior
the
brother
people
Long
around them
poked
started to gossip.
Muchichi's back.
She's usually
Don't
so
look at him.
arrogant.
Your
But she's
family is
finally
here
failed.
too.
I didn't
At this
expect
time,
her to hit a child.
Muchichi frowned.
That's true. Sure enough,
I've long heard
she
that
saw our
Feng
man's
Shan
car
Shan
parked at the
is
entrance
queen
of
of
the
the
branch
night
office.
scene.
It's not
Muchichi
surprising that
packed
she
her
has
things
such
and walked
experience.
out.
Only
This
to
time
see
it's such a
Shang
big
Xiao
deal.
with a
The
very
school
cold
will
expression.
definitely expel her.
Xiao.
There's no
I don't want
room
to talk
for
to you
discussion.
now.
Just
Just
TSK
said directly.
That woman is
School is
really
about to
too
start.
dirty.
You don't have
Who
to
would dare to
report
want
to
her
the
branch
future.
office every day.
Hearing these ear-piercing
was
voices,
stunned.
she was very nervous.
walked in front of the dean.
She suddenly understood
why this man,
when Feng
who had always
Shanshan
doted
was at
on
the
her,
scene solving
was
the
really
case.
angry.
You weren't even there.
Therefore,
Who are you calling
although she
dirty?
felt very
You've
uncomfortable,
done such an ugly
she
thing,
obediently shut
and
up
you're still
and did
afraid
not
of
say
others
a word
talking
in front
about
of
it.
Xing Xiao.
If adding insult
Soon,
to injury
Shang
can
Xiao
make
sent
you
her
feel
home.
noble,
But after
then
throwing
let
her
me
home,
tell you,
he
I'll
went
go
straight
back
to
check
Zhongting.
your ancestors.
Mu Qiqi
I wanna
looked at her
see if you
man's
don't
back
make
as he
mistakes.
left.
After
Began to
hearing
reflect.
Mu Qiqi's
Was
words,
she too complacent?
the dean
This was the
immediately
first time
fell
in so
silent.
many years
Clearly,
that Shang Xiao
she was
had
feeling
really
guilty.
given her a hard time, even though she felt that she deserved it.
You could talk
Qiqi,
about her behind her
your
back,
back's so
but
early
don't do it
today.
in front of me.
When Mama
Otherwise,
Shang saw
I'll make
Mu
you put up a
Qiqi in the
bigger
living
banner
room,
tomorrow.
she quickly
and
went up
flowed
to
on
her.
the largest
I just saw
building in
each brother.
Jianchuan
Where
for
is he?
3 days.
He left again.
The people around
Mu
them
Qiqi
instantly
sighed.
fell silent.
Mommy,
They had almost
Xiao
forgotten
seems to be
that
angry
Mu
with me.
Qiqi was still around.
Tell Mommy what's
What
the
was
reason?
Feng Shanshan to them? Seeing that everyone
What
was
Muchichi
tactful,
could think of the
Muchichi
most
sat down.
was that when she
They
was
were really
facing
too
Lin
friendly
Yuquin
to them.
today,
Did they
she
think
had
that it was a
offered to
blessing?
exchange
On Feng
hostages.
Shanshan's side,
At that time,
the atmosphere
she had
was
said it
very
casually
serious.
out of instinct to
Shanshan,
protect
you're a
the
top
child.
student.
It was just that she had once
once
promised,
logically
Shang
speaking,
Xiao, that she
this
would
kind of
not
matter
let
is a
herself
personal
fall
matter,
into danger.
and the school
Today,
has no right to
she
deal
actually
with it.
took the initiative
However,
to court
now
death.
that the matter has blown up,
You know better
the
than us
impact how much
is very
eighth brother
serious.
cares about you.
The
Letting you
principal
be a
really
forensic
wants to
doctor
eliminate
is
the
already
negative
breaking
impact
his
on
limit.
you,
But
he
he
doesn't
still
know who you've
Xiao
offended.
Qi, even
Mommy
the school's
can't help you
network
with
has
this
been
matter.
hacked. I'm
And
sorry,
you've been
Mommy.
posted on the
It's my
forum.
problem. Dean, Mama
Just tell me
Shang
what you wanna
patted
do.
Muchichi's
Feng
shoulder.
Shanshan
She did not want to
participate
participate in this
official
matter
words.
between the young couple.
The dean pushed
It was
his
obvious
glasses
that
a little
Shang
helpless
Xiao wanted to
and
teach
a
her a
little
lesson,
reluctant,
so that she
the
would
school
remember.
plans to ask you to withdraw
Muchichi
from school
knew
on
Shang
your own.
Xiao's goal,
Feng Shanshan
so she could only return
might
to her
already have an
bedroom
idea in her
dejectedly.
heart.
She was
But
the one who had
hearing
been
it with her
rash
own
and did
ears
not
was a
think it
different
through.
matter.
She did not
Most
know how
importantly,
long Shang
she did
Xiao
not
would
even
be
have the
angry.
right to say
She
that
knew
was
that he would
wrong.
not give up on her so easily. But when she thought of his worries, Muchichi felt so guilty that her heart
Chapter
ached,
704.
and she felt
The dean looked at
extremely
Feng
uncomfortable.
Shanshan
She had lost her
awkwardly.
sense of
In the
propriety.
end, he told Feng
On the other
Shanshan
side,
about the school's
Shang
research
Xiao
decision.
was not far from
Shanshan,
home.
drop
He had
out
to
of
teach the
school.
little one a lesson.
Feng Shanshan
Recently,
did not say
she had become
anything.
more
If
and
you still
more
want to be a
complacent.
forensic doctor,
She dared to go
then
to
I'm
any
willing to
occasion
guide you on your
and
own.
take on
This
any
is my
kind
own
of trouble.
fault.
I can't blame you. I know you've tried your best. Chapter
Feng
692
Shanshan
was silent for
The
a
case
long
was solved
time before
and
she said to the
Tang
dean,
Yin
kept his promise.
I understand.
After going to the
I'll come
hospital
and settle the
with
withdrawal
Feng Shanshan
procedures
to treat
as
as
soon as
possible.
possible.
He returned to the
After
police station
saying
to
that,
treat
everyone
Feng Shanshan was
to a
about to leave the
Seeing
office.
that Muchichi
was
stopped
stopped
by
by
the
around.
Feng
Shanshan
immediately
why don't we
called
contact
her.
each other later?
Come out for dinner.
I'm really willing to
No.
help you.
I'll help you
Muchichi
in private.
rejected. I
Feeling a
guarantee
little
that you'll be
dejected.
no different
I have
from
something
how
to do
you
at
are
home.
now.
There's
About
no
your big
need, Dean.
CEO.
Feng
It has nothing to
Shanshan
do with you.
firmly
Hurry
rejected
up
the dean's
and go be
suggestion
intimate with your
because she
Captain
could
Tang.
always hear a hint
Muchichi
of
hung up
ill
the phone in a
intentions
bad mood.
in the middle-aged
Then,
man's words.
she leaned against
Her
the
private
dressing
affairs
table
had
in the
indeed
bedroom
been made
and
public,
looked at herself.
and she had also
It was
been
9
scolded for
o'clock and
being
being
a
unique.
husband.
To be
However,
precise, it was
this did not
9:15.
mean that she would indulge
Usually,
herself.
the man who
She
should
still
have been
had
home
Tang Yin.
was nowhere
After
to be
Feng
seen today.
Shanshan left the
Was he that
classroom,
angry?
She saw
Muchichi thought about
Muchichi
it,
leaning
put on her
against the
coat,
wall.
and
Their
took
gazes
a car
met,
to Zhongting.
and they did not speak.
When the secretary saw
However,
her entering the hall
Muchichi
of
could
Zhongting,
more or less
she wanted to go
guess
up and
how the
greet
school
her,
would deal with it.
but Muchichi
You said just
did
now
not
that you know
let
what's
her.
going on.
Where's
Tell
Xiao
me,
Xiao? Who's trying
He's
to
still
mess
in a
with you
meeting.
behind the scenes?
The police have made
Tang
Lin
Yin's
Yuquin's
enemy has
matter
been
public.
released from prison.
Zhongting
He
is
probably
also
knows about my
cooperating with
relationship
PR.
with him.
So the CEO
So he wants to
is
use
still
me to
dealing with
issue
the
a challenge
aftermath.
to Tang Yin.
Then I'll wait
Feng
outside.
Shanshan replied.
You don't have to bother with me.
However,
Go
I
ahead.
can't refute it.
Muchichi's
After all,
attitude was
these are
that of a
facts.
child who had done
Then what do
something
you plan
wrong.
to do in the future?
I don't need to call the
I
president.
don't know.
No
We'll
need.
cross the bridge
I'll
when
wait
we
for
get
him
there.
outside.
Feng
She was
Shanshan
angry,
replied with her
so she
head
didn't have
lowered.
the guts.
Feng
To be
Shanshan
precise,
lowered her head.
Shang
and
Xiao had
answered,
never really
although
been
I
angry
know
with
it's
her.
Tang Yin's
So,
enemy.
She did
I
not
still
know
have to
if
find
this
out
man
who
would
would
fall
fall
for
for
her
her
coquettish
Then you can
act.
go back.
That's
I'll
good.
make 2
If
copies
you need
of the
anything,
notes.
just let me know.
I won't leave you out.
Muchichi nodded and
Muchichi
sat on the
promised.
sofa.
She
She
had
had
thought
thought
that
that
Shang
Shang
Xiao
Xiao
would
would
not
not
have
have
to
to
deal with
wait
these
until
problems.
11 or 12
Call me if you need anything.
o'clock to deal with the
You
aftermath.
actually don't know how to
She
comfort
did not
me.
expect that she
Do
would
you?
have to wait
Muchichi
for
was
3 hours.
disdainful.
You
Usually,
don't need it. Shang
However,
Xiao gave her too
it's
many
really time to
privileges because
investigate
he
who
spoiled
brought
and
those
loved her.
things from
Now that he was
society
suddenly
into the pure
angry,
campus.
she felt
Give
as if she
Captain
had
Tang a
returned to the
call.
past
After
when she had
all,
a crush on
he's the
Shang
one who
Xiao.
caused it. She had to
Of
be
course,
careful.
do you
in
think I'll let him
everything.
have it easy?
She had always known that she
After
was
Feng
fearless
Shanshan
because
said
of
that,
Xiao Xiao's
she took out her
love.
phone.
She never
However,
thought that he would be
just
so
as the two of them
distant
walked to
and
the
cold.
entrance of Shang
She
Qing,
felt wrong
Feng
that she thought
Shanshan
about it.
suddenly
At
reminded
12:15,
Muchichi,
Shang
be
Xiao
careful
finally
of
put
that
on his
old
coat
man from the
and
faculty.
walked out of the CEO's
He's not
office.
easy to deal with.
Then he saw the
What did he do to
secretary
you?
pointing
Is
at the
there any
sofa
lack of social
outside the
news?
office. Using
Shang Xiao
graduation
turned
certificates,
his
to
brow
coerce
furrowing
students
in an
to
instant.
sacrifice themselves.
Because Muchichi
I think
was
that's what he
sitting
meant
on the
just
sofa
now.
with tears in her
After
eyes.
hearing that, she was about to cry.
Muchichi Mu-Chi's eyes
Madam has been here
unconsciously
for 4
deepened.
hours. She wouldn't let me call you. Was he playing the ruse
All right,
of self-injury?
I'll come back another day to
Shang
complete the
Xiao
withdrawal
raised his chin,
procedures.
turned around,
Mu-Chi
and
watched
said to his
Shan
secretary,
Shan leave.
"You can go home
Then,
now."
she returned
Then
to
I'll
the
leave
classroom.
first.
However,
The secretary
she had a
carried her
feeling that
bag
the person who
and quickly
ruined
made
Feng
space
Shan's
for the couple.
reputation in school
However,
was a
CEO
CEO from Shang.
Shang didn't move
As
at
for the
all.
dean,
He stared
he
at
might have to
Mu-Chi for a
suffer a
long
little.
time before
When
asking,
Tang and her about
"Am
what
I
happened
wrong?
to Feng Shan,
You're wrong."
he immediately
Mu-Chi
drove
said,
holding
holding
back
back
her
her
tears.
without saying a word. He dragged
Now
Feng
that you know
Shan
you're wrong,
into the
why don't you
off-road
go home?
vehicle.
If the
Mu-Chi
school doesn't
stood
allow
up from the
it,
sofa
I'll teach you
and
personally.
follow behind
In a
Shang
few
Xiao.
years,
When
you
they
can
reached
take
the
civil
Zhongting,
service exam
Mu-Chi
and become a forensic
said
doctor.
aggrievedly,
You
That's
were wrong,
easy for
too.
you to say.
Sheng
You're
Xiao
so
turned
busy
and looked at Mu
How would you have
Chi-Chi.
time to care about
You're
me?
the support of
Moreover,
all my
what about the
feelings.
clinical anatomy
But you have
class?
learned to be angry.
I can't just
and
kill
give me
someone
the
to do
cold
experiments,
shoulder.
can I? I am a
Uncle can
self-aware
completely
person.
solve this
You know
problem.
that if you give me a
Tang
warning,
Yin
I will
said
immediately
mysteriously.
correct myself.
After saying so
I will
much,
not make the same
is your
mistake a
enemy
second
really
time.
hiding in the school?
However,
No.
you have suddenly
It's that
given me a
person's younger
very
brother.
pessimistic
He
feeling.
knows about
our relationship.
So
this
he
is what will
attacked
happen
you
to me
if
Tang
he
Yin
doesn't
explained.
love me one day.
I just didn't
In
expect
these
that
3
these
to 4
dirty
hours,
and
I feel like my
despicable
soul
methods
has
would
been
be used
stripped
on a woman.
away.
I'm
Am I
sorry.
relying on you
Don't
too
say
much?
these useless
I have no
things.
self at all.
What I need
After
is
hearing her
practical
words,
compensation.
Sheng Xiao
Just as you
pulled
said,
her into his
I need a
arms
degree,
forcefully, and I want to become
If
a
you dare to
forensic
leave
doctor.
me, you can
So,
try.
I
don't
told
ask
you
you
a
to teach me
long time
personally,
ago that since
but
you
when I'm
dragged
studying
me
on
into
my
hell,
own,
I
don't
can
even
really
think about
contribute
leaving.
some effort.
I don't want to leave. Feng Shanshan's words were
said,
out of
choking.
Tang Yan's
You're angry.
expectations.
I'm uneasy.
He thought that she
I
would
don't
comfort
feel
him
safe.
like other
I should
women
press you on the
and
bed
say
and
that
spank
these
you,
sacrifices
but until
are
you
okay.
beg for mercy.
If Feng Shanshan
Sheng
really
Xiao
said that,
brought her back to
he would
Zhongting's
feel
office
guilty instead.
and threw her on the sofa.
I'll remember it. Can I be
Tang Yin
angry?
also answered
Stinky
seriously.
thing. You're angry.
Feng Shanshan was
My heart is
satisfied
broken and closed her
Mu
eyes
Chi-Chi
to
replied,
rest.
Did
lying
that
on the
group of
sofa.
people only have
On
this
one
kind of
hand,
method?
I don't know how
He
to
dared
coax
to lay
you,
his hands on a
and
woman
on the
who
other
was
hand,
so weak
I feel
that she
really
could
wrong
not even
by
trust
being
ignored
chicken.
by you. Seeing that
I'd rather
Feng
you beat me
Shanshan
up
was
than
not
ignore
shy
me for
Tang
4
Yin
hours.
urged her.
I really
In that
can't
case,
stand it.
Go look at the
After
house as
saying
soon
that,
as possible.
Mu
and
Chi-Chi
move
stuck up
in
her
as
little
soon as
butt.
possible.
Go ahead.
In that case,
Is it so
I'm
awkward
really
to
going to be Mu
apologize?
Chi-Chi's neighbor.
I know I was wrong.
Feng Shanshan
Mu
smiled.
Chi-Chi replied.
However,
Are you still a
Tang Yin
hostage?
knew that she
Sheng
would not
Xiao
be as
asked
relaxed
coldly
as she
as he
appeared
hugged
on
the
the
person.
surface.
The little
After
thing's
Feng
resistance
Shanshan
was getting
left the
stronger
school,
and stronger.
Mu Chi-Chi
completely
became alone
different
again
from before.
with the
No,
image
I'm
of a
scared.
cold and
After
aloof
hearing these
scholar
words,
and the
Sheng
identity
Xiao
of the
turned her
Shang
over
family's little
and
bride,
hugged her again.
she could
Do
still
you
do
feel
whatever
so
she
wrong
wanted
when you're
in
cold?
school.
Mu
After
Chi-Chi
class,
nodded with
Mu
tears
Chi-Chi
on her
saw the
face.
dean passing by
Not
the
to
classroom
mention
corridor.
3 hours.
Suddenly,
Even if
a
I'm
thought
angry with you
flashed through her
for
mind.
3 days
At this
or
time,
3 years,
Feng Shanshan
you're the only
also
thing
sent
by my
Mu
side.
Chi-Chi a text
There won't be
message,
anyone else.
reminding her
I'm
to
married,
be careful of
and I
someone.
don't plan on getting
If
a
nothing
divorce.
unexpected happened,
So,
that
don't feel
person was the
insecure.
mastermind who
As Sheng
exposed Feng
Xiao
Shanshan's
spoke,
private
he wiped the
affairs.
tears from the
Mu
corner
Chi-Chi
of
looked at
Mu
this person's
Chi-Chi's
name
eyes.
carefully,
However,
and suddenly
I
felt
still
that it
didn't
was
expect
very
you
ironic.
to have such a big reaction. You blame me.
This was
for
because
not
in the eyes of
remembering
the
your
teachers and
instructions.
classmates,
Have you
in the
ever
Department
known
of
your
Foreign
place in my
Languages,
heart?
this boy was a
Mu
good
Chi-Chi asked,
student with excellent
Xiao
character
choked
in
for a moment
academics,
and could
of
only
course,
admit defeat.
Mu
in
Chi-Chi
the
would
end.
not be so
If there's a next
stupid
time,
as to
there
look
won't
for
be a
this
next
person in
time.
private.
Mu Chi-Chi
After
said
all,
as she held
she did not
Sheng
want to put
Xiao's
herself in
fist.
danger.
I won't.
However,
Since it was so
she always had a
awkward to be
way to
angry,
avenge Feng
how could she be
Shanshan.
angry?
Thinking of
Sheng
this,
Xiao
Mu
only wanted to
Chi-Chi
teach
called
this little
Sheng
thing a
Xiao.
lesson.
But
Xiao
he didn't
Xiao
expect
picked
it
up
to make her
Suche.
so
I want to
uneasy.
confirm something. He really didn't expect
At this moment
that he
in the
would have
afternoon,
such an
on the
important
golf
place
course
in the little
there were
thing's
two
heart.
old men taking a leisurely
He
stroll
thought that she
on
had long
grass.
forgotten about
Secretary
it.
Run
because she
followed
was too
behind
busy.
old master.
Even so, I still
Sheng
don't
silently,
regret
giving
but it
you
was
the cold
obvious
shoulder
that she
for
was
a
not
few
used to
hours.
it. Sheng
Moreover,
Xiao took the
she was
opportunity to
terrified.
lift Mu
Secretary
Chi-Chi's
Run,
tearful
chairman,
chin, because
Ren
it made me
Yufei
see
quivered
clearly how
and
deep your
immediately
feelings for me
responded.
are. Come my
Even though I
side.
didn't mean it.
Old Master
Mu
Sheng
Chi-Chi
reminded Ren
directly
Yufei
bit
and
Sheng
walked
Xiao's
side by
shoulder
side
when she
with
heard
him.
that.
If you
Sheng
follow
Xiao
behind
smiled
and
I
pointed
really
at his
can't
lips.
see your expression.
Here, bite this.
Yes.
Are you still
Ren
angry?
Yufei mustered
Sheng
up her
Xiao
courage
sighed and
reached
walked
out
up.
to stroke Mu Chi-Chi's
Calling you
hair.
here must have scared
How can I
you.
bear to?
I just want to ask you
Mu
one thing.
Chi-Chi hugged.
Do you like her
Sheng
brother?
Xiao
Do you want to be his
fiercely
wife? And
Ren
deeply
Yufei
sucked
was
on his
stunned
head.
on the spot.
I don't pester
Her whole
you,
body
but it
stiff.
doesn't mean that my
Chairman,
feelings for you are
don't
fading.
be nervous.
You're rooted in my
Old
heart.
Master Sheng
Nothing can surpass
immediately
or
waved his
compare you.
hand.
Do you
I'm
understand?
not forcing you
Today
or
at the
chasing
branch
you away.
office. I just want
was
you to be my
protecting the weak
granddaughter-in-law.
out of human instinct.
I didn't really want to show off. Just think of it as me being stupid. Although I don't regret saying
Chapter
that.
705.
I will work harder to learn
Chi-Chi
boxing.
said that you and
Sanda
Bowen are a couple.
Xiao Xiao. I was still
You have
hoping
to
that I would
believe
have
me.
a granddaughter.
What else could
Sheng
Sheng
Xiao not believe?
I didn't expect it to be my grandson's wishful thinking. Old Master
Chapter
Sheng
693.
said with a look of pity.
I believe you.
Why is it so
Let's go
difficult
home.
for him to woo
Sheng
a
Xiao
wife?
patted the little
Ren
one's
Yufei
cheek.
looked
Mu
embarrassed.
Chi
took the opportunity
This was
to
because there was
straddle
a
Sheng
huge
Xiao
difference
and
between
take
this
off his coat
and the chairman in
Sheng
her heart.
Xiao did not move.
Secretary Ron,
He just held her
tell me
waist
the
with
truth.
an unclear
If you treat
expression.
third
You
brother
want it.
sincerely,
You don't want it? I'll
Mu
make the
Chi
decision
looked
for
at the
you.
man and threw
Chairman,
the question back at
I don't
him.
have any
I want to hear you
intention
say
of
it.
climbing the social
Sheng
ladder.
Xiao looked at Mu
Please
Chi
don't
with a faint
misunderstand.
smile.
Old
Shouldn't we make
Master Sheng
love
sighed.
after a fight?
This child's wariness
Mu
was
Chi
really
pushed down a
extraordinary.
man's suit.
You
and
child,
unbuttoned the
I'm
man's
telling you
shirt.
the truth.
I want.
Who
Sheng
asked you
Xiao
to be
picked her up
famous
and
for making
pressed her
things
against the
difficult for
floor-to-ceiling
people?
glass.
Old Master
not
Shen
far
laughed
away.
out loud. Since you've
No
asked,
wonder your
of
third
course
brother
I have
can't
to
find a
satisfy
wife.
you.
This
Everyone
place
is
could overlook
afraid
most
of a
difficult
Jianchuan.
grandfather.
Mu
like
Chi
you,
felt both
who
excited
dared to
and
come to his
shy.
door.
But most
Old
importantly,
Shun, don't be
she wanted to
sarcastic.
feel that this man
Can you
was
help me
by her
persuade her?
side and
Old
would never
Master
be
Shun
separated
was
from her.
helpless. It was a
What
very
Chi-Chi
exciting
said is
pleasure.
useless.
After
That was
calming
what
down,
Xiao Qi said
Sheng
useless.
Xiao hugged her.
You're the
and
one
sat
who
on the
didn't put
sofa
in
to
enough
calm
effort.
down.
At this
Old
moment,
Master Shen rolled his
Mu
eyes
Chi-Chi was like
and
a
then
stray
explained to
cat
Ren
that had
Yufei
lost its owner.
Xiaorun.
Her body
I'll call you
leaned
that for
tightly
now.
against
This
Sheng
old man used to be
Zhao's
very
chest,
bad,
afraid
but ever
that
since
she
he
would
was
lose
stabbed
his
in the
wolf.
head,
He's back
Sheng
to
Xiao
normal.
hugged her
So,
and rubbed her
you don't
neck.
have to worry about him.
Isn't it
tricking you.
enough? He'll send
Hug
you
me
a plane
tighter.
ticket tomorrow.
Although
to
I'm
send you
angry
abroad.
that you forgot
Just
my
tell me the
instructions,
truth.
little
Do you have
one.
any feelings
I
for
have to
third
admit
brother
that I'm
of the
proud
Shang
of you.
family?
Sheng
He
Xiao
really wants
tightened
you
his
to be his
arms
granddaughter-in-law.
and carried Mu Chi-Chi
Ren
into
Yufei
the lounge.
looked at the two elders
Since you don't
for
want to go
a
home
long
tonight,
time
you can sleep
and
here.
finally
Okay,
believed
I don't
old
want to move.
Master Shang
Mu Chi-Chi lay on the bed
and
don't
fell
worry.
asleep a moment later.
This old man
Seeing
isn't
this,
satisfied with
Sheng
anyone
Xiao
taking
tucked
care
the
of
little
third
one in.
brother now.
Then he
It's
quietly
only
walked
you,
out of the lounge
so he
with
can
his
rest
phone
assured.
and called
The
Mama
president
Shang.
is a very good
Mom,
man.
Chi,
Without waiting
and I
for
aren't going
Ren
home
Yufei to
tonight.
finish,
Did you
the
quarrel?
two old men nodded.
Mama Sheng
Then it's
asked
settled.
Sheng Xiao.
Ren Yufei was
It's more
confused
appropriate for you
because
to be
the two old
unhappy
men
at home
as
at
long as she
7
didn't hate
o'clock
Sheng
in the
Bowen
afternoon.
and didn't
Don't
directly
worry.
reject
Your
him.
daughter-in-law
It meant that she was
is
interested
sleeping
in
like a
Sheng
pig
Bowen.
now. A moment
All
later,
right, I got it.
Sheng Bowen's
Mama,
figure
Sheng
appeared
hung
in the
up.
grass.
Sheng
This
Xiao
person
hung up
had
and
hurriedly
returned to the
finished
lounge,
all his official
only to hear
business
Mu
and
Chi-Chi
look for the two of
murmuring,
them.
Xiao
Why are you
Xiao,
here so
don't be
eagerly?
angry.
Old
Don't be
Master
angry
Sheng
with me.
asked
Could they still
knowingly.
have children
Can
in
I
the
eat
future?
Secretary Ren?
Definitely not.
Grandpa.
On the other side,
She is my secretary.
Tang Yin was
I have a
treating
lot
the
of
people
things
from the
for her to
police
deal
station
with.
to a meal.
Sheng Bowen
The group of people
quickly
was
found an
endless.
excuse.
They chased
Secretary
after the two
my
of them
ass.
and asked who
Let
was
me tell
chasing
you,
who.
don't order
Feng
Xiaorun
Shanshan
around.
rolled her eyes.
She's now
at the
my
group of
granddaughter-in-law. Tang Yin's
Old
hand
Master
was
Sheng
injured.
snorted.
Did they not realize
Go find
it at all?
yourself a male
Senior
assistant.
brother Long.
Look at
Senior
eighth
brother
brother.
Chung. He never
Can you
makes
please take your
Chi-Chi
hands off my
worry.
boyfriend?
When Sheng
Bowen
Bowen
heard that.
How can
He felt as
Captain
if he had been
Tang stand
struck
it when
by
you're such a
lightning.
tigress?
Grandpa,
Girls should be
were you?
gentle.
If
and
I had to wait for
considerate.
you to make a move,
Senior
my
brother
old bones
long
would
hung
probably
on
have
Tang
melted
Yin's
into
body
slag.
and
So I
said
couldn't wait any
happily,
longer.
I'm being mean
Little
to you
Run
guys.
is innocent
okay?
and pretty
Feng
good.
Shanshan said angrily.
From the beginning to the end,
I don't
Tang
object to the
Yin
two
had been
of you dating
drinking
at all.
and rarely
If possible,
spoke.
he would
Consider
only be
getting
like
married
this when he was
early.
relaxed.
Sheng
If he was
Bowen
vigilant,
looked embarrassed
he
when
would
heard
never
that.
touch a
Grandpa,
single drop of alcohol.
Secretary Run and I, you're doing this too?
Therefore,
Old
this
Master
proved
Sheng
that he was in a
snorted.
good mood.
You
at the
weren't in a
moment.
hurry to
Captain
announce your
Tang,
divorce with who
what
ran
exactly
before.
did you do?
Why are
to
you
win
suddenly cutting
Shan
ties
Shan's
with her?
heart?
Do you
Can you
dare
share
to
your
swear that
experience
it
with
really
me?
has nothing
Old
to do
Cheng
with
hung on
Xiaorun?
Tang Yin's shoulder
Ahem.
and cried
Sheng
bitterly.
Bowen coughed
Tang,
lightly.
you already had
But
a
everything
girlfriend,
has to be done
but he
step
was
by
still
step.
single. I'm
It
not
was really
asking you to
sad.
do anything.
Feng
I'm just
Shanshan
expressing my
despised
attitude.
these two
If
people's
Xiaorun marries
understanding.
into the Sheng family,
How could the two of
I
them
definitely won't make
understand
things
Tang
difficult for
Yan's
her.
level of
I'll
concealment?
even love her like she's
I don't know
my
how you
own
can find a
granddaughter.
girlfriend either.
Don't let me
but
scare
you
her
definitely
away.
won't be able to
Old
find
Master
one when you're
Sheng
hanging on
pointed
me
at
like
Sheng
this.
Bowen with his walking
Tang
stick
Yin
and
finally
said,
spoke. You have to work
Senior
hard
brother
for me.
Long. After
Do you
all
really
this
think
time,
that your Captain
she
Tang
still
is a
hasn't
top 10
accepted
good
me
man and has never
Sheng
had a
Bowen's
girlfriend?
face really
Feng
couldn't hang on this
Shanshan
time.
couldn't take it anymore.
All right,
and
your
asked the two
grandpa
of them,
Shun,
and
isn't
I
that
still
so?
have to continue catching
Feng
up.
Shanshan,
The two of you can
shook
go.
her head.
If there's
He's had
nothing
more
else,
girlfriends than I
bring
can
Xiao
count
Ren
with
back
10
for
fingers.
dinners.
Sheng
With your
Bowen
meager
was completely
skills,
shocked.
step aside.
He directly pulled
Really?
Ren Yufei
Old Chung
and
felt like
left.
he'd been turned upside
After getting
down.
into the car,
It really
Sheng
doesn't look
Bowen
like it.
explained.
Ask him
Well,
yourself.
don't take
The
it to
fact that
heart.
she could tease
Ren
him about such
Yufei
a
was
thing
stunned for a few
meant
seconds
that Feng
before she
Shanshan
suddenly
really
laughed.
didn't mind.
Tang
Actually,
Yin smiled.
the chairman is quite
No
cute.
more. That's
no
now.
less. No matter
11.
what, you should
Old
consider
Chung
what
was
Grandpa
speechless.
said.
Officer
Ren
Long
Yufei
said,
looked
"Damn,
at Sheng Bowen
I made a
in
mistake."
astonishment.
Shanshan,
you're
don't
still
seem
with
to
him.
treat you
You're
as
a
just a
beast.
partner.
Sheng
Who hasn't had a
Bowen
past in
took
life?
advantage of the
Feng
momentum
Shanshan
that old
didn't think
Master
much of
Sheng
it.
had given him.
All right, it's late.
And took the
Can we
opportunity
go home now?
to confess.
I've been provoked, especially when
Let's
I
go
see
home.
you being bullied.
The two of them
Therefore,
drank until
when
they
Hu Ran
staggered.
begged him
In the
not
end,
to announce the divorce,
Feng Shanshan
he did not
asked someone
hesitate
to
at
send
all
them away
and let
before she
Chi-Chi
fell to
play
ease.
with Hu Ran.
However,
Ren
on the
Yufei's
way
face
back,
suddenly
Tang Yin
turned
forced
red
Feng
to her neck.
Shanshan to stop in the nearby
If you don't answer, answer. I'll take it as a
her
yes.
onto his legs.
But Miss Who seems
From
to
now
still
on,
have feelings
you're the
for
only
you.
one.
She was
It
the
so
one who
difficult
brought up
for
the
Tang
divorce.
Yin to
No
say
matter what
these
she
words of
thinks,
love. To me,
Feng Shan
that
Shan
marriage
was
is in the
immediately
past.
overjoyed.
I'm not a doll.
However,
She wanted a new
they were
life,
outside,
so she could
so
bring
it
up
wasn't
the divorce.
convenient. She's
We'll
still
talk when
worried
we get
about the
home.
past.
I might
so
not
I
be
have
able
to
to wait.
cooperate. Feng
There's
Shan
no
Shan
such thing
pushed
in
him
this
away
world.
and pressed
Sheng
his hand.
Bowen answered
Pay attention to
seriously.
your image.
Yufei,
Wait
let's give it
until
a
we
try,
get home,
okay?
After
You're
saying
too
that,
sudden.
she started
No,
the off-road
it's the
vehicle
accumulation
again
of time.
and went home as
When
fast
no one
as she
believed
could.
in me.
However,
Only you gave me
when
trust.
she got home,
You felt that with
Feng
my
Shan Shan
personality,
found that the
I
lock
could
on her
manage
door had
Huang
been
Yao
pried
well.
open and
During
the
my
house
most
had been turned
difficult
upside
time,
down.
you also
Tang
fought for me
Yin
on the front
suddenly
line.
woke up.
I haven't
because he saw the
forgotten
note
all
on
of
the
this.
coffee table.
Ren
However,
Yufei was
he didn't
silent
let Feng
again.
Shan Shan
Or rather,
see it. She was
this
in
neighborhood
disbelief.
is indeed
So,
quite old.
I'm really not
I
sudden.
didn't see
At
any
this moment,
movement from the
Ren
property
Yufei
management
finally
after a
understood
burglar broke
what kind of girl
I'll go take a
wanted.
shower first.
He seemed to be calm
Tang Yin
and
propped
needed a
himself
burning
up,
fire.
entered
But
the
in
bathroom,
fact, he was not.
and turned on the shower.
He was sentient.
Then,
But he was
he
born
leaned
with a
against the
slow
sink
reaction time
and opened the note.
In other words,
Dear
he
Captain
wanted to find
Tang,
a drizzle
long
that
time no
moistened
see.
things
After
silently.
Tang Yin read it,
He tore it into pieces and threw it into the trash
I can
can.
try.
What would come would
But
come
I'm a
sooner
person
or
who
later.
backs down easily.
A moment later,
You back
Feng
then promised
Shan
Shung
entered the
Kai
bathroom
to
with a
seduce me.
bathrobe. She
She
saw
saw
laughed.
Tang.
Do you want to
leaning
tell him
against the
that you've
bathtub,
completed the mission?
already drunk.
Ren Yufei saw that he could still joke.
Even so,
she relaxed.
this man still looked
Promise me that you
extremely
won't do
sexy.
anything
Feng
excessive in the
Shan
company. Was helpless.
As you wish.
She
Shung
squatted in
Bowen
front of
cried
Tang
out
Yin
in his heart
and wanted to wake him
The
up.
old man had finally
Unexpectedly,
done a good deed.
The man flipped her
and acted
over
as a divine
and pressed her
assistant.
to the ground.
Of course,
Aren't you
he did not
infatuated
know
with my
that
body?
Mu Chi
I'll let you have your fill
was
now.
the one who came up with the
Feng
idea
Shan
behind the
Shan
scenes.
didn't refuse.
She just did not
She had
know
been
what kind of
flirted with by this
expression
man in the
who
car
Ran would
just
have
now.
if she found out.
Now
about
that she had
this.
finally gotten
back
home,
then,
she was
naturally
unwilling to
wouldn't
be
push
bland with
Tang
Shung
Yin
Bowen
away
again.
But
in
after
the past,
leaving,
she
my
realized
entire
that she
mind
was
was
worried
filled
about
with the
this man
thought
again.
that you're not
Now,
suitable
that
for
Shung
me.
Bowen had
Perhaps
Ren Yufei.
we would separate
Could she
sooner
really
or
let go of
later.
the past?
But now,
I've
after
changed my
returning to
mind.
the company,
I want to run for
Shung
the rest
Bowen
of my
hid in
life.
his office
Tang
and
Yin
called Old
I want
Master
to marry
Shun
you.
to tell him the good
Hearing the
news.
word marry,
Old Master
Tang
Shun
Yin was
hung up the
completely
phone
sober
and looked at Old
Not
Master
now.
Shun.
You're still
This
studying.
Chi
I'm a
is
little
really
older
a
than
blessed
Chi Chi.
person.
I'll be getting married soon.
That won't do either.
Tang Yin refused directly. Chapter 706. Chapter
In the future,
694. I'll dote on
Feng
her
Shan
and
Shan
treat her
felt
as
if
the
a
real
bucket
crown
of cold
princess.
water had been poured over her.
Old
She was
Master
stunned
Shun
on the
was
sofa.
helpless.
Are you really
It
with
was
me
embarrassing
just
to
have sex?
always be talked about
Is it
by his
because
old friend.
you're lonely?
That's more like
No.
it.
When
Tang
your
Yin
third
hugged Feng
brother
Shan
succeeds,
Shan tightly.
hurry up
and invite
No.
me to the wedding.
I didn't mean that.
Old Master
didn't mean
Shun
that.
chuckled. You just don't
After
plan to
being
marry
stunned
me,
for a while,
right? He asked
There's some
Old
things I
Master
can't
Shun,
explain,
Seventh
but I'm
girl
not playing with
asked
your
me to
feelings.
buy something for
Shan Shan,
Shaolin.
Can we not
I
talk
forgot.
about marriage now?
Next time,
Feng Shan
bring it
Shan
directly
pushed
to Huang
Tang
Yao
Yin away
and let her
and
choose
slammed
for
the door
herself.
into the bedroom.
Old
At this
Master
moment,
she nodded.
She
He
felt
did
her
not care
heart
about
turn
these
cold.
external things
She
at
felt
all.
a chill
Good
from head to
suggestion.
toe.
It
Speaking
turned
of
out that
which,
Tang,
in terms
Yin
of
had
luck,
never planned
Ren
to marry
Yufei
her.
was still
He
the
didn't
one.
put her in his future.
Everyone in the Shung
She was the
family
one
had
who
been
thought
tortured
that
by
their
the old man,
relationship had
but she
reached
was
the
the
point
only
where
one.
they could talk about
The old man
marriage.
was already
She was too
open-minded.
naive. I remember that
Tang,
your birthday
Yin slowly
is
got
coming
up
soon,
and walked to the bedroom
right?
door.
Old
He
Master
sat by the
Shun
door.
was stunned. It should be
You
quite
still
boring
remember?
to be with someone like
Originally,
me. You know
Old
that I don't
Master
want to hear
Shun
this.
thought that this
I
would
want
be
a
a
reason.
reunion birthday.
Feng
But
Shan
the truth
Shan
was not
sat
like
on the
that.
bed and wiped
Huang
her
Yao,
tears as she
the
asked.
CEO's office.
I can't tell you the
Separated
reason
by
now,
glass.
but give me some
Shung
time.
Bowen secretly
Tang
looked at
Yin
Ren
replied.
Yufei.
I'm not old
several
enough to
times
register.
while he was
am
dealing
I?
with work.
Men are all
The feeling of
pig
having a
trotters.
girlfriend
Feng
was
Shan Shan
indeed
cried
wonderful.
and scolded.
So he could not help but
Tang
want to
Yin,
take a few more
You're also a
glances at Ren
bastard
Yufei.
who plays tricks
He
on
cannot be
people.
too intimate at the
You're no
company,
different from the
but he could at
previous
least send
scumbag.
her home.
You can vent however
right?
you want as long
Therefore,
as you don't
when it was time to
leave
get
me.
off work,
Hearing
Shung
Tang Yin's
Bowen
words,
worked overtime at the
Feng
company
Shan
as
Shan
usual.
calmed down
Ren
because she
Yufei
could clearly
delivered
feel
the new
that Tang
documents to
Yin
the office
had her in his
and
heart
then said to
and
him,
cared a lot about her.
President,
But why was
there's
he
a
so
visitor.
against marriage?
Come with me after
Forget
work.
it. Who asked
Shung
her
Bowen
to meet
looked up at
such
Ren
a man?
Yufei.
Wasn't he
and saw
not
who
old
ran
enough to get
standing
married?
behind her.
She didn't know
No
what
wonder
was
there was
wrong
no
with her to
expression
bring it up
on
at this
Ren
time.
Yufei's face.
After thinking for a
Then,
while,
Shung
she
Bowen
quietly
closed the
opened
document
the locked door
and put away his smile.
Tang
Yin was
used
at
a
the door.
business-like tone
When he
to
opened the
speak
door
to
and
who
saw
ran.
her,
Why
he
are you
only
looking
said
for
to
me
her,
at this time?
One day,
Third brother,
you'll
I want to
know the
ask you out
reason.
for dinner.
Wash up
But
and
I have an
sleep.
appointment tonight.
You smell like alcohol.
Shung Bowen said
Feng
directly.
Shan Shan
He
didn't
planned to
continue the topic.
completely ignore
Although her
who
heart
ran
felt like it was
special
being
dressing.
pricked when
After
she
all,
thought of Tang
his
Yin's
real
rejection.
girlfriend and ex-wife
She wouldn't push
were both
Tang
here.
Yin away
He had to be careful
impulsively
to
no
avoid
matter how
embarrassment.
stupid she was.
In that case,
she was
I
the
have something to
girlfriend
say to
of a
you
criminal
here.
police
After
officer.
saying that,
In the future,
who ran turned to
she
look
would
at
also
Ren
be a
Yufei.
forensic doctor.
I wonder if Secretary
Therefore,
Run
she had to
can
train
leave.
her mental
I'll get off work
endurance.
first.
At
CEO,
least, it was better
Ren
than
Yufei
hearing
turned
that this
around
man was
and
killed
left the office.
while defusing a
Shung
bomb
Bowen
or
being
being
stabbed
Ren
to death
Yufei
while
leave.
rescuing a hostage.
then took out his phone
right?
and sent
Hey,
her a text
Yin
message.
did not say anything else.
Wait for me outside.
He went straight
for
to
a
the
few
bathroom
minutes because he
I'll be
needed
out
to
soon.
think clearly
Ren
about how
Yufei
to
leaned
ensure
against the
phone,
door,
Shan
feeling
safety.
upset.
In the
However,
future, when she
she
saw
should
the
go to the
text
police
message from
station
Sheng
less.
Bowen, the next
She
morning,
finally
Mu
felt a little
Chi
better.
woke up in Sheng Zhao's
If you have anything to
office at Zhongting.
say,
The
say it now.
secretary was holding
Sheng
a
Bowen
change of
sat
clothes
down opposite
and
Huran
seemed to have been
and looked
waiting
at his
for a
watch.
long time.
I'm in a hurry. Madam, this is for
Huran's
you.
expression was
Where's
a
your
little
CEO?
awkward, but after
Mu
a few
Chi took the
seconds,
clothes
she
and
still
asked,
said,
I'm in a
"Third
meeting.
brother.
I still want to go back to your
The
side.
secretary smiled.
I'll go get breakfast for Madam.
These
Mu
few
Chi
days,
nodded.
Dad arranged for me
She had been
to meet
tortured
some
for most of the
outstanding
night
men.
last night,
But when I
and
see
have been
them,
hungry,
your
for a
face
long
automatically
time,
appears
unlike
in my
some
mind.
people who
so
had
I
been
want to start
fed
over with
until
you.
they were full.
After listening
Are
to
you going to
this,
the police station
Sheng
today?
Bowen looked
Mu
at
Chi
Huran
Chi
carefully.
shook her head
After a
when
moment
she
of
remembered that
silence,
school
he
was
chuckled
about to start.
and said,
She did not
"Huran,
forget why Xing
you asked
Xiao
for a
was
divorce
angry.
because you
I'm not
felt
going.
that there was no
You don't have
love
to worry
between
about me.
us.
I'll do
I
my own
understood
activities
and
in his
accepted
office. I thought
let you know
if I need to go somewhere.
Your decision was prudent enough.
After the secretary
But now
asked
you want to start
Muchichi about her
You're the one who
needs.
got divorced.
She turned around.
You're the one who
and
wants to
walked
start
out of the
over.
lounge. Is my life
Muchichi
just
took
for
her
you?
clothes to the bathroom.
Huran did not
to
expect
wash up.
that
When
Shung
she came
Bowen
out,
would start.
she
by
received a call from
questioning her.
Shung Bowen.
I know I was wrong.
So she did
Third
not
brother,
know whether to laugh.
let me make it
or
up to you.
cry.
After losing
Third brother,
I
do you know how to
finally
read
know what
fortunes?
true panic
Why?
is.
How did you know I
Shung
was
Bowen
free?
shook his
The
head.
case has been
seriously
solved,
advised
and it's
Huran.
all over the headlines.
Xiaoran, how could I not
Don't
waste any more
Are you
time
with
on
eight,
me?
brother?
I've
I
already
have something
walked
to
out.
ask you.
I hope you can
Tell
walk
me,
out as soon as
what do you
possible.
need me to do?
Okay. Muchichi
You
asked,
have you fallen
generously
for another woman?
What kind of gift do
Huran
women
suddenly
like?
asked
I want to
Shung
reward
Bowen.
the secretary.
It has nothing
After
to
not
do
paying
with
attention to
anyone.
these two.
It's just that
for
as a
such
man,
a long time,
I have my dignity.
She wondered how they were
I
doing
hope you won't
now.
look for me again.
This
in the future.
blockhead actually
Perhaps
wanted to buy
we can
something
still remember the
for
beauty
secretary
we once
ring.
had.
Then
Shung
let me
Bowen's
ask you,
words had
do you
already
have any
expressed
selfish
his
motive
meaning
for buying
very
this gift?
clearly.
Muchichi
Third brother,
asked
I know I was impulsive back
She
then
wanted to know
and
if
asked for a
Huran
divorce.
was already
But it's
a thing of the
precisely
past.
because of that
Can
that
I just
had to
do it
lower
as a
myself to
superior?
look for you.
Muchichi
I don't treat
could
you
not
as a
help
toy,
but hold her
You're my
forehead
benefactor
and
from
feel
Huran's
a little
eyes.
helpless. Shung
You're really
Bowen
not
did
enlightened
not see her
after 10
feelings.
years.
All he
If you
saw
really want
was
to
her
do it as a
unwillingness.
superior,
She did
then
not
just give it
know
to
when
her.
she had started
Why
to
do you care
treat
about her
the
feelings?
loyal Shung Bowen.
I want to make her
as
happy.
own.
Before the
Muchichi's
divorce,
eyes lit up
she
when
had never
heard
felt
these
it.
words.
But after the divorce,
This was clearly a sign
she
that
slowly
something was going to
realized
happen.
this fact.
If you really want to
In the
make her
past,
happy,
she thought that
then
Shung
prepare
Bowen
a
was
surprise
there
with your
and that he
heart.
was soft-hearted.
As long as you
As
put in
long
your
as she
heart,
told him that she
will
regretted it,
definitely be
he
happy.
would definitely
If
agree
Huran
to
did
remarry.
not ignite
In fact,
the flames of
Huran
love in
had
him,
always held
what about
such
such
a thought in
secretary
her
heart?
heart.
Shung
However,
Bowen hung up the call
although
with
Shung
Muchichi
Bowen was a
and
slow-witted
suddenly
person,
thought of an idea.
he was not a fool
Since
after
there was a
all.
banquet
He
tonight,
understood
and
a
he
lot
did
of
not
things.
have a female
Moreover,
companion.
a
He could
person
ask
who
his
could spend
secretary to
2
accompany
years
him.
pretending to be
After
a fool
that,
would not
they would
be as
enjoy the
healthy
most
as a normal
beautiful
person.
night view.
It was just
of
that she
bench
might have
warmth
hidden
on
a
the top
side
floor
that
of the
she did
hotel.
not realize.
Although Muchichi did
Huran,
not believe
we really
that
can't go
Shung
back.
Bowen could
Hearing
successfully
this,
date her.
Huran's
At least he was
self-esteem
tempted.
suffered
Of course,
a heavy blow.
Shung Bowen
She
would
had
not
really
know
let go
that
of her
this
pride,
banquet would be the
and even her
beginning of his
face to
beautiful
muster up the
dream
courage
and
to come to
nightmare.
Huang.
Not
Yao
long
to get
after
back
Shung
together
Bowen
with
hung
Shung
up,
Bowen.
but he
Feng
actually
Shanshan
rejected
called
her.
again.
Haven't you
brother,
received the news
I'll get
yet?
someone to send you
The
back.
professor told
After
us
saying
that we
this,
don't have
Shung
to help
Bowen
in the
walked out of the
laboratory
office
anymore
during
and
school.
asked the company's staff
Muchichi
to
was
send
stunned
Huran
when she
home.
heard that.
Huran took a
I didn't
deep
receive
breath.
the news.
Her feelings
Are you
were
sure the
complicated.
professor is serious?
She felt reluctant.
He can't be more
but she also
serious.
felt that it was not worth it.
She even thought
However,
that she was crazy
Feng
to come to
Shanshan
Shung
also
Bowen
had a
to
suspicion
remarry.
in her heart. In the morning, she clearly saw
Miss
Tang
Hu,
Yin go to the
please.
forensics laboratory.
Huran looked at the
to
unfamiliar
meet the
staff
professor
and made a request
Later,
to Shung
the
Bowen.
professor
I want
asked
her
the
secretary
two of
to
them
send me
not
back.
to be assistants.
We have a
in the
social
laboratory
engagement
anymore.
at half
It would be
past
best
6.
if they could
We
focus
can't
on
send
their
you back.
studies. Although
Shung
she was
Bowen's
not
tone
sure of her
was
guess,
very light,
she felt
but
that the
very
professor's
decisive.
decision
He did
had
not
something
give
to
her
do
any
with
room
Tang
to
Yin.
refuse.
Ever since she said
Huran
that she wanted to
chuckled
get
and
married
nodded.
last night.
I understand.
This man had become
Having said
very
that,
abnormal.
she turned around.
But the most
and
annoying
left
thing
Wang Yao.
was that he would not
It turned
say
out
anything.
that she was too
She did not want to
confident
beat around
in
the bush
herself.
now.
So
Shung
she went
Bowen
straight
looked
to Tang Yin's
easy
office.
to bully and control.
Did you tell the professor
but
that
once
he
he
doesn't
decided
need
on
our
something,
help anymore?
even Nine
Tang
Bulls could
Yin
not
was reading
pull
a
him back.
file.
Most
When he looked up
importantly,
and saw
his
Feng
secretary,
Shanshan, he nodded.
a woman's
You were
intuition
still
was
students
definitely
after all.
right.
Your
Her
studies are more
secretary
important.
definitely had
After you graduate,
special relationship
come and
with Shung
report
Bowen.
directly.
How long had
I
they been
suddenly
divorced?
feel that you're very
Shung
strange.
Bowen was said to
Feng
be loyal,
Shanshan
but didn't
said
he still
coldly.
fall in love
Feng
with everyone he
Shanshan
saw?
said coldly.
However,
I'm not
she
your
did not
puppet.
expect that
Why should I
she
trust
and
you
Shung Bowen were
unconditionally
divorced,
and
since there
follow
was no
behind you?
relationship?
Can
Wasn't
I
it Shung
trust
Bowen's
me
freedom
unconditionally
to like whoever he
once?
wanted? You don't want to
After
marry me,
Huran
and you
left,
don't want me to work.
Shung Bowen
How can I
felt
trust
quite
you?
distressed.
Feng Shanshan
He also began
asked
to
in
consider
return,
letting
give me a
Ren
reason
Yufei
or
no
just
longer
a
be his
reminder.
secretary.
Some of the people I arrested when I was undercover have come out. Tang Yin took a step back and said, Chapter 707. Ren Yufei sat in the
Chapter
secretary's seat
695.
and watched Shung Bowen
After hearing
and
this,
Huran talk. Feng
seeing
Shanshan
the
was
scene,
stunned. Her
Tang
expression
Yin
naturally
picked
did
up the the file again, and no
Sheng
longer
Bowen
looked at
felt a
Feng
little
Shanshan.
guilty.
On the first day, Ren Yufei
so I can't make
became his
any
girlfriend.
promises to you.
He had to let her
After
see
Feng
such a
Shanshan heard
scene.
this, she
Therefore,
walked out of
after
Tang
everyone
Yan's
in the company
office
left,
in days.
Sheng Bowen
Although she
walked up to
knew
Ren
that all of
Yufei
Tang Yan's
and said to her,
concerns were right.
I don't want you
For
to
some
see
reason,
such a scene.
she felt a
Rich,
sense of loss
ex-wife,
in her heart.
remarried
Her
man.
feelings were
It
complicated.
seems that every
She
word
was
is
worried
pressing
and
down
sad.
on you.
I don't want
Therefore,
you to carry
although
these
she did
burdens.
not know how long
After
it would
Ren
take,
Yufei
Feng
heard
Shanshan still
she
decided
suddenly
to
felt
listen
a
to
little
Tang Yan's
sorry for him.
arrangements. She
All
knew
the problems
that Sheng
she
Bowen
had
was
been
not the kind of
pretentious
man
with before
who would
were
change his
now
mind.
worthless.
His
in front
rejection
of Tang
was
Yan's
also
wife.
very powerful.
And this man was not
However,
good at comforting
he did not
people,
have the lethality
nor was he
of Shang
considerate.
Xiao.
However,
So others
he
often
must be
did not
suffering
take his
in his
rejection
heart.
seriously.
Feng Shanshan
President,
believed that.
I want to give myself
When
a
the professor
promotion.
saw her coming out of
Ren
Tang Yan's
Yufei
office,
said
he knew
thoughtfully,
that she must have asked Tang
I want to
Yan.
be your special
He patted her
assistant.
shoulder to
I'll
show
choose
his
another
encouragement.
secretary.
Although I really
think?
hope that
This
bastard
way,
has a companion,
Ren Yufei's
I'm more
daily
worried
work
about
would
your
not
safety.
change.
Shan,
But she would have
it's
more
been hard
freedom.
on you to be with
Moreover,
that kid.
she could
If
also
you need
find
anything,
an excuse
please
to
call
refuse
me.
who ran.
Feng Shan
Since she
Shan
had
readily
agreed to give it a try
accepted
today,
the fact
she
that she
could
was
not back
leaving.
down.
Study hard.
I'll arrange to
if there's
find
nothing
someone
else.
tomorrow.
Let
Can
that
you get off
bastard
work
bring
now?
you home for dinner.
Secretary Ren?
Feng Shan
Shan
nodded
Bowen
and
put
turned
one
around to
hand
go
in his
home.
trouser pocket.
She had to admit
and asked
that
Ren
she did
Yufei
not have
in a
the
carefree
ability
manner
to protect
Ren
herself.
Yufei
yet.
nodded. However,
Yes.
one
Where do you
day,
want to go?
when she
I
could
want to
take
go
charge
home.
of things on her
Ren
own,
Yufei said
she
as
would
picked
no
up the
longer
documents.
listen to Tang
Go
Yan's
home
arrangements.
and continue
She
to
could
do
also
the
be
work
a
you
harbor
arranged.
for men to
Then I'll
rely
send
on.
you. I'll drive.
Mu Chi-Chi
You've been working
still
all
did
day.
not know the reason.
After saying
So
that,
Feng Shan
Ren
went
Yufei
over
followed
and met her
behind Sheng
briefly.
Bowen.
Of
The
course,
two of them went to the
she
parking
did not
lot
reveal
of
what
Huang
Tang
Yao
Yan
Wan
had told
after
her
another.
to Mu Chi-Chi.
Then she
Ren
only
Yufei
said
sat in the driver's
Tang
seat.
Yin has something to do
However,
during this
because it
period
was
of time.
rush hour,
Let's listen to the
road was
arrangements
very
of the bureau.
congested and it was raining.
Mu Chi-Chi knew
So,
that the reason
when
would
Ren
not be
Yufei
simple.
drove to the door,
So she did not
Sheng
continue
Bowen
asking.
had already fallen
Anyway,
asleep
we're
against
still
the
young.
backrest.
There are
He was
plenty of
very
opportunities.
quiet when he slept.
You don't have to think
and he
too
did not
much.
have bad habits.
You probably
like
don't
snoring.
know that what I
Ren
hate the
Yufei
most
parked the
now
car at the
is
door
the fact
and could
that I'm
not
still
bear to
young.
wake him up.
If she had been
However,
born earlier and
Grandpa
met
Sheng
Tang Yin
somehow got her
earlier,
phone number
perhaps she would
and
not
called her
have missed
directly.
so much of Tang
Shower
Yin's
run.
past.
The chef
Mu
at home
Chi-Chi looked
made
at Feng
delicious
Shan
food
Shan's
today.
hateful
Come back with
expression
third
and
brother
smiled.
for dinner.
There
Marry
are a
him
lot
if
of
you hate
rooms in the
Feng
Sheng
Shan
family.
Shan
If you
gave
stay
Mu
late
Chi-Chi
tonight,
a push
you can rest at the
and turn
Sheng
around to
family's
return to their
place.
home.
Grandpa
However,
Sheng
less than
was a
3
little
hours
surprised.
after she was sent
Chairman,
home,
I'm
Feng
already
Shan
home.
Shan
I'm
received
sorry.
another call from the
I see.
professor.
What a pity.
Well,
when are you coming?
Shan Shan,
There's a
Tang
chance.
Yin had an
Ren
urgent
Yufei's
mission
body
and
began
didn't have
to
time
heat
to
up.
tell you.
It was
He
mainly
asked me to tell you
because
that he
old
might be out
Master
for a
Sheng
week. Was too
his luggage.
enthusiastic.
They should have prepared.
She
it for
really
him.
couldn't stand
You
it.
don't have to worry.
Sheng Bowen heard
Wait
the sound
for him to come
and
back.
woke up.
He
Before
looked at
Feng
Ren
Shan
Yufei.
Shan could say
Grandpa
anything
called.
else,
The
yes,
professor had
but
already
I
hung
can't
up.
handle the chairman
Feng
like
Shan
this.
Shan put
Looks
down
like
her
you'll have to
phone
get used to it
helplessly.
in the future.
She suddenly understood how Tang
Sheng
Yin's
Bowen
ex-girlfriend
looked
felt.
around.
We're at your house. Because
Go on.
Tang Yin was
See you
really
tomorrow.
not a suitable person
Yes.
for marriage. Whenever you needed him, he was not by your side.
Ren Yufei released
How
her
was she
seatbelt
supposed to persevere?
and was about to get out of
The
the
scariest
car
thing was
when
that you
Sheng
couldn't
Bowen
get angry
suddenly grabbed
because
her arm
even if you got
and pulled
cancer,
her into his arms.
he wouldn't know.
Today,
Feng Shan Shan
I'm really
felt
happy.
that she should
Ren
reevaluate
Yufei
this
wanted to
relationship.
struggle.
But when
So,
she heard this,
she called
her
Mu
heart
Chi-Chi.
softened and she
Wanna
let
come
Sheng
out for a
Bowen
drink?
hug her. Mu Chi-Chi
It's this
guessed that it was
steadfast
because of
feeling
Tang
that
Yin.
makes me feel
so
very
she nodded
comfortable
and
and
agreed.
relaxed.
Let's meet at the
Then,
place.
Ren Yufei
The two of them agreed to
withdrew from
meet
Sheng
at a
Bowen's
cafe,
arms,
not
far
See you
from
tomorrow.
Sheng.
It was rare
Bowen
for
knew
Mu
that this was the
Chi-Chi
little bud
and
of love.
Feng Shan
He loved
Shan
Ren
to be like
Yufei's
normal friends.
reassuring say.
They asked each other
So
out.
he
He wanted
tea
to take good
and
care
chat.
of her.
Even though
However,
the two of them saw
when
each
he
other
thought of who
every
ran,
day,
when
he
Mu
suddenly
Chi-Chi
put
was
away
about to
his
go out,
gentle expression.
she ran
He had
into
to admit
Shang
that he had
Xiao.
no way to
Behind
deal
him was
with
a
such
group
person.
of people in suits
He had to ask Mu
and leather
Chi-Chi
shoes.
for advice.
They seemed to be your
At this
business
moment,
partners.
Mu Chi-Chi was confirming
wanted to
whether
avoid
what
these
happened to
customers.
Feng
and
Shan
leave
Shan
directly,
school was done
but
by
Sheng
that top
Xiao
student.
grabbed her.
If it was
Where
really
are you
the
going?
case, then
Feng
Mu
Shan
Chi-Chi
Shan is
would
not in a good
definitely
mood.
give him a taste
We'll
of
meet
his own
downstairs.
medicine.
Sheng
I've checked
Xiao
most of
nodded
his school
and let go.
surveillance cameras.
Call me when you're done.
Although I didn't really
I won't go to the
capture
police
this person.
station. He's
I'm
in
not
every
afraid that
video.
you'll go to the police
In addition,
station.
I've
I've been
something
to the
else.
hospital
Mu
and
Chi-Chi
asked the
nodded.
medical staff.
I understand.
From the hospital
Did she really
surveillance
think
cameras,
that he was so
he was the one who went to the
narrow-minded that he
medical
still
staff
remembered
to deal
yesterday's
with Feng
grudge?
Shan Shan's
Even if he
case.
remembered yesterday's
After hearing
grudge,
Su
he
Che's
would not
words,
deprive
Mu
the little
Chi-Chi
one of
nodded.
any rights.
That's right.
He would only be
He used such a
unhappy in his
shameless
heart.
method to
Mu
deal with
Chi-Chi
the girl.
quickly went
And he still
downstairs
dares to call
and
himself
arrived at the place
an
where she had
excellent
agreed
student.
to meet.
Originally,
Feng Shan
he shouldn't
Shan.
be compared
This was
to a
the first
criminal,
time she
but
saw
from the looks
Feng
of it
Shan
now,
Shan.
he's still a
sitting in
brother
her
after
seat
all.
with a
He has the
melancholy
genes to harm
expression,
others.
looking troubled.
After hearing
Other than
Mu
Mu
Chi-Chi's
Chi-Chi's
words,
Feng
Shan
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 did
Mu
not
Chi-Chi's
have
chin
any other true
and looked in her
friends.
eyes.
Nor did she have
I think you
anyone
have an
to
encounter
confide in.
setback in a
What's
long
going
going
time.
on?
So your
me.
hands are itching, right?
I don't think
When
I can hold on
Suche saw
anymore.
this,
He
Feng
quickly
Shanshan
retreated.
looked down at her
The two of them
nails
were arguing
and
with
said,
each other like this.
Tang Yin just
Soon,
left.
it would be an
It's an
X-rated
urgent
scene.
mission.
He didn't
Even
want to
the
be a
professor
third
called
wheel
me.
here.
I'm
However,
very depressed.
just as the two of
I
them
don't
were
know if
about
I
to
should
kiss,
continue to be with
Sheng
him.
Bowen called.
Sheng Xiao was by her
Chi
side
immediately
every day.
pushed
Mu
Sheng
Chi
found it
away.
unbearable to be
Go
cold
take a shower.
for 3
Sheng
hours
Xiao looked at
yesterday,
Mu Chi
let alone
mockingly.
Feng
This little one had
Shanshan's
all
long
kinds of
wait.
tricks up her sleeves.
If you think you can't
all
hold
day
on,
long.
then
However,
give up.
he spoiled
Because
her.
you know what kind of
There was
person
nothing
Captain
he
Tang
could do.
is.
In
So,
front of the case,
Sheng
he
Xiao
almost
got up
doesn't have
and went straight
himself.
to the bathroom from
You
the
can also
study.
imagine that
When
in the
Mu Chi
future,
saw that it
when
was
you get
Sheng
married and have
Bowen's
children
call,
together,
she
he
immediately
might not
picked
even
it up.
show up for the wedding.
What's wrong? So,
Third brother,
if you feel that you
there's
really
something I want to
can't bear
ask you.
not having your
Sheng
partner by
Bowen
your
was
side,
downstairs from
then you should
Ren
make a
Yufei's
decision
house
early.
because he didn't want Ren
Otherwise,
Yufei
it will
to
be even
bump
more
into who
painful in
ran
the
looking
future.
for him.
On the
endlessly
contrary, if
Is
you
there
love
any
this
way to
man
make
very
who
much,
ran give up
then you should
completely?
endure everything.
Did she do something
If you
shocking
choose,
again?
don't complain.
Mu Chi guessed. She came to me to remarry. Mu Chi was speechless. Does this person have a dual personality?
No matter how bad she was in the past, she wouldn't be so persistent. In the end, she still can't accept it, Muchichi said helplessly. As you, of course, you can only give her the cold shoulder, avoid her, and forget her existence. Otherwise, she will think that you're just acting coquettishly with her. She came to Huang Yao today and was seen by Secretary Ren. Muchichi rolled her eyes. Why did she go to Huang Yao to look for you? It's because she has already smelled the adultery between you and Secretary Ren. She wants to test you. If she finds out about your relationship, she will definitely go crazy. But I'm open and above board. Let me think of a way. Muchichi fell into deep thought. Give me some time. Huran was not going overboard now. She was just pestering him, so there was no need to use any ruthless methods on her. However, the relationship between third brother and Secretary Run had just sprouted. If Huran appeared frequently, wouldn't their relationship be unstable? I feel that I'm very useless. My words and actions don't seem to have any deterrence to others. At this time, I'm a little envious of eighth brother. Chapter 708. Sheng Bowen hung up the phone and looked up at the floor where Rin Yufei was. Seeing that the lights were on, he returned to the car with a peace of mind and left. As for Huran, he had to think about it carefully. Sheng Xiao knew that third brother had called Muchichi. When he was lying on the bed, he pinched the little thing's chin and asked condescendingly, "Are you someone else's lousy advisor now?" The fact that third brother came to me means that he values Secretary Rin enough. He's sincere. You also know that he's not good at scheming, and Huran hides it very well. At least, it's better for him to ask for help now than to call after he's schemed against in the future, right? Muchichi smiled at Sheng Xiao. So, you're good at scheming? Didn't I learn all my scheming from you? Muchichi broke free from Sheng Xiao's fingers and burrowed into Sheng Xiao's arms. A strict teacher produces a brilliant disciple. Sheng Xiao hugged the tricky thing and turned off the bedroom light. I'll teach you something else now. Although it was early spring, March in Jinchuan was still very cold. After Huran was rejected by Sheng Bowen, she stood in the garden in the cold wind for most of the night. She felt ashamed and resentful when she thought about it. In her heart, Sheng Bowen had always been a loyal dog. He was loyal and righteous, so she felt that she would definitely win over Sheng Bowen. However, she did not expect that men were fickle. Papa, who saw his daughter sitting in the garden and found it difficult to understand, so he went out to persuade her. It's so late at night. Shouldn't you rest? Dad, I want a third brother today to remarry. Papa, who was shocked when he heard that. But he rejected me. Huran's words were a little unbelievable. He didn't care about the status of husband and wife at all. He rejected me very straightforwardly. Xiaoran, I feel that you've changed a lot recently. Papa, who sat down beside Huran. Divorce is your choice. Since you've already walked out of the Sheng family, why bother going back? Can I go back on my choice? Papa, who saw that his daughter seemed to be stuck in a dead end, so he patted her shoulder and said, You only think that way because you haven't met a better person. Xiaoran, you're the daughter of the dignified Hu family and the apple of my eye. Why are you rushing to throw yourself at someone else? Dad, I can't accept this. All right, after a long time, you'll fade away. Listen to Daddy. Huran did not say anything. She still sat in the yard. No matter how she thought about it, she felt that she had been humiliated by Sheng Bowen. Most importantly, what was the relationship between Sheng Bowen and his secretary? Was there anything unusual going on between them during their marriage? She had to find out the answer. She had been a fool for a few years and had been bullied for a few years. It was precisely because of this that she could not tolerate betrayal. Therefore, she would definitely find someone to keep an eye on Secretary Rin. However, she did not know that Sheng Bowen had already asked Muchichi to help him. Because of her rich combat experience, Muchichi had a strong desire to beat down those unwitting cheese. In Muchichi's heart, when she was her third sister-in-law, Muchichi could get close to her because of Sheng Bowen. However, once she left Sheng Bowen, Huran would not be on Muchichi's list of people who would protect her. On the other side,
Tang Yin was secretly paying attention to the movements of those people after they were released from prison. They had indeed become smarter. After all, they had been in prison and knew how to lay low. Therefore, if they committed crimes again, it would be even more difficult to hunt them down. Feng Shanshan packed her things at home. During the day, she had already taken the time to look at the house and sign the contract with the agent. Soon, she and Tang Yin will be able to move into the new house. I'll go to school tomorrow to settle the withdrawal procedures, Feng Shanshan said to Tang Yin while packing her things. I'll go with you, Tang Yin said directly. Feng Shanshan wanted to refuse, but on second thought, she was burdened by this man, so he should accompany her. After you accompany me to settle the procedures, you can go back to work. As a captain, your vacation is too long. After I settle down with you, I know what I'm doing, Tang Yin replied as he leaned against the sofa. Feng Shanshan could not be bothered to persuade him, so she went straight to the bathroom. After a while, Tang Yin followed her in. As he took off his clothes, he asked her, "When is your birthday?" "June." "What's wrong?" "Summer, my favorite season. It's the right time to get married." Tang Yin threw away his sweater and walked to Feng Shanshan. "I made you lose your studies and your future. I'll use myself to make up for it. Do you think it's worth it?" Feng Shanshan took the opportunity to put her arms around Tang Yin's neck and chuckled. "You're a husband who will disappear at any time. With a family, I won't be like before," Tang Yin promised seriously. "Words are no guarantee. You'll write a guarantee later." Tang Yin could not do anything to Feng Shanshan. He could only press her against the wall and kiss her hard. This woman was too special and made people worry about her. She had lost her studies and reputation, but she was not anxious at all. She was not sad or disappointed at all. It was as if everything was a small matter. But the more magnanimous she was, the more worried Tang Yin was, because he knew that Feng Shanshan could do anything for him. The next day, Feng Shanshan told Mu Chi-Chi on the way that she would go to school to settle the matter of dropping out. Mu Chi-Chi guessed that a certain captain would definitely follow, so she was not worried. "I wanted to find 2 bodyguards for you, but you probably won't need them. I realize that you're not only sharp-eyed, but also clairvoyant. You can see things from so far away. Since you know who the mastermind is, are you just going to let it go?" Mu Chi-Chi asked Feng Shanshan. "They came openly, and we fought them openly. Since they played dirty tricks behind our backs, we can only return the favor. This has nothing to do with you. Don't get involved." Feng Shanshan said to Mu Chi-Chi anxiously, "Xiao Qi, I know you're angry for me, but now is not the time to deal with him. Up to you, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle." He was taking revenge for his brother. Feng Shanshan thought to herself that those outlaws' lives were worthless. If they really hurt the precious Mu Chi-Chi, Shang Xiao would definitely flatten Shang Ting. "I'm at the school gate. Let's stop talking." In fact, Mu Chi-Chi had just gotten out of the car and saw Feng Shanshan and Shang Xiao in front of her. It was breakfast time for the students, so there were many people in the school. Feng Shanshan's appearance in school at this time inevitably attracted people's attention, especially when there was a man beside her. Why does this man look so familiar? I think I've seen him somewhere before. So handsome. This man is so stylish." Chapter 709. The dean turned around and saw a man following behind Feng Shanshan. He frowned. "Shanshan, why don't you know how to avoid arousing suspicion when you're at the cusp of the storm?" What he meant was, you clearly know how the people in the school are talking about you, yet you still brought another man here. Are you this shameless? Feng Shanshan tilted her head slightly and said to the dean, "I'm here to withdraw from school. The school shouldn't have the right to ask about my private affairs, right? Director. Child, you're really not good at all. The school is full of rumors about you, and you don't even know how to avoid them. How can you still bring a man to school? What kind of person are you?" When Tang Yin heard this, he stepped forward and extended his hand to the dean. Jianchuan Branch 1, Special Investigation Team Leader Tang Yin. The man was shocked when he heard who Tang Yin was. He stuttered, "I'm sorry. I didn't mean that. Hello, I'm here to help my fiancé complete the withdrawal procedures. Tang Yin said bluntly. Fiancé. Hearing these words, the dean broke out in a cold sweat. Fortunately, he did not explicitly tell Feng Shanshan. Otherwise, the consequences would have been unimaginable. So, it's my fiancé. Feng Shanshan retreated behind Tang Yin and let the man block everything. She did not want to see the dean's face. Tang Yin exuded a calm and unapproachable aura. This made the dean not dare to act rashly from the beginning to the end. In the end, Feng Shanshan deliberately made things difficult for the dean. Didn't you say that I can come to you for self-study in the future? What are you talking about? You have an expert by your side. How could I have the chance to do such a thing? The dean quickly waved his hand. I hope everything will be fine for you in the future. The two of them went through the formalities at school, but the news about Tang Yin was still spread by the school. This Feng Shanshan is really capable. She dumped the rich second-generation heir and found a criminal police officer, a handsome one at that. This criminal police officer is really willing to be a sucker. Feng Shanshan's matter has become so big, yet he can still tolerate it. Rumors and slander spread like wildfire. They were all girls who didn't have a secret. However, in this world, it was always women who made things difficult for women. But when he saw that Feng Shanshan had such a handsome man by her side, his mockery was subconsciously tinged with jealousy. He did not know what kind of luck Feng Shanshan and Mu Qiqi had. They were clearly ordinary, but they just happened to get the best resources. When Feng Shanshan left Shengting, she held her head high and did not feel embarrassed at all, because she knew that the man beside her would not mind. Aren't you going to say goodbye to Mu Qiqi? Tang Yin asked Feng Shanshan when they walked out of the school gate. Feng Shanshan shook her head and smiled. No need. We'll be neighbors soon. As a matter of fact, Mu Qiqi watched Feng Shanshan leave. Not far away, she also saw the culprit who framed Feng Shanshan. You probably heard that Tang Yin had come to school, so he wanted to see what the police officer who had sent his brother to prison looked like. This was just the beginning. There was still the future. Mu Qiqi looked at the other party, who looked like a good student. She felt that this person and the dean should be family. He was so dignified. That's strange. It's clearly a very embarrassing thing. But why do I feel that Feng Shanshan was quite glorious when she left? That was when Mu Qiqi heard the discussion around her. If I had such a boyfriend, I wouldn't care about anything. After leaving the school, Feng Shanshan turned her head and asked Tang Yin, who was driving, what if I say that I want to do something bad? What do you think? As long as it's not a crime, it's your freedom. I'm afraid that if I don't do anything, Mu Qiqi won't be able to help me. You know how she is. She likes to meddle in other people's business, but I don't want to involve her, Feng Shanshan explained. The two of you really know how to sympathize with each other. That's because you don't know. I used to hate her to death. We were sworn enemies. Feng Shanshan thought about it. She had taken the money to monitor Mu Qiqi and suddenly felt that it was ridiculous. But now, she's as important to me as you are. As long as she needs it, I can go through fire and water at any time. This was the first time Feng Shanshan had mentioned Mu Qiqi's importance to her in front of others. After all, Mu Qiqi had been the one to help her when she was at her most difficult time. The two of them only disliked each other verbally and competed with each other. But in fact, Feng Shanshan had long regarded Mu Qiqi as an indispensable family member. That was my fault in the first place. Who asked you to hold it in and not resist? Tang Yin understood her feelings and fully supported all her actions. After hearing this, Feng Shanshan smiled. She had been exposed in her private affairs, expelled from school, and mocked. So, she wanted the other party to have a taste of this. Wasn't he a top student? If the whole school knew who his brother was, how would he feel? I'm very bad. You've always known that. She and Mu Qiqi were just little girls. It was not a big deal. That's because you haven't seen true evil. That person's brother has destroyed countless families. He doesn't care about human life at all. If he can take revenge on you, it means that he agrees with his brother's actions. Shanshan, I've done worse things to catch criminals. This was the dark side that Tang Yin had hidden. No one could touch it, not even himself. Feng Shanshan didn't say anything else. She didn't plan to bring this kind of thing up in the future. After all, Tang Yan's identity was still there. She shouldn't make things difficult for Tang Yan. Although she didn't commit any crimes, taking revenge on that person was no different from that person. Therefore, she changed the topic. The landlord said that the procedures can be completed in 5 working days. Everything in the house is complete. Is there anything else you want to buy? I'll arrange everything. As long as you like it, Tang Yan replied directly. In a few days, I'll discuss it with Uncle and plan for you to study on your own. I'll listen to your arrangements. Tang Yan didn't say anything. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. This was also what Feng Shanshan was satisfied with. She didn't ask her to be an upright person. That was how she was. Just like Mu Chi-Chi, she liked to hold a grudge. In the school, Mu Chi-Chi was in the classroom, quietly attending classes. To her, bullying Feng Shanshan was no different from bullying her. It was one thing to plot behind her back, but even the dean was taking advantage of her. She didn't know how many girls he had used this method to coerce. Since he liked to contact her in private, she would let him contact her to his heart's content. After school that day, the school forum spread. Someone anonymously reported that the dean of Shengting's forensic department was involved in some shady business. Who didn't know how to make up stories? Chapter 710. Once the news spread on the forum, no one talked about Feng Shanshan anymore. After all, whether it was promiscuity or miscarriage, they were all Feng Shanshan's personal affairs. However, the dean's matter was different. It concerned the reputation of the school and the positive image of the teachers. Therefore, the principal, who had already gotten off work, rushed back and held an emergency meeting. In order to give the students an explanation, the school immediately made an announcement and suspended the dean of the forensic science department. They also set up a special investigation team to investigate. Mu Chi-Chi deliberately waited until the end and watched the dean carry his briefcase and leave Shengting University with a dejected look on his face. Since he was old, he had to accept his old age. He shouldn't covet everything. There would be retribution. Let's go home, Mu Chi-Chi said to the big Buddha in the car. In order to accompany this little thing to see the results, Sheng Xiao had already been reading documents in the car for more than an hour. Since when did you treat Feng Shanshan so well? I'm not doing this just for her. I still have to stay in the forensic science department for a few years. Aren't I suffering to look at this disgusting face all day? Mu Chi-Chi lay on Sheng Xiao's lap and acted coquettishly. Sheng Xiao sneered but did not expose Mu Chi-Chi. By the way, your old man's birthday is coming up. Should we prepare a gift for him? You're pretty good at changing the topic. You're pretty good at it. Sheng Xiao put down the document and pinched Mu Chi-Chi's nose. I won't prepare one this time. I just want to see if you can give him a gift that will make him happy. You know that I'm his enemy. Aren't you making things difficult for me? I can help others no matter how difficult it is. Are you trying to kill yourself by giving a gift to your own family? Sheng Xiao did not intend to let her go. He had really spoiled this little thing. All right then. Since you said so, I'll do as you say. But let me make it clear first. Before the gift is ready, you're not allowed to ask anything. Sheng Xiao curled his lips, looking like he wanted to see what tricks she was up to. Mu Chi-Chi did not tell Feng Shanshan about it, but Feng Shanshan still found out about it. Since she wanted to deal with the top student, she went to the school forum and found out that the head of the forensic science faculty was suspended from his duties. Other than Mu Chi-Chi, no one else was willing to stand up for her, just like how they dealt with that scumbag back then. At that thought, Feng Shanshan felt that she had to hurry up and catch up to Mu Chi-Chi. Since there was a school opening ceremony, why not take advantage of this opportunity? A top student, right? Let's see if he could really get the scholarship this time. The next day, Huang Yao's office. Ever since Sheng Bowen rejected who ran that day, she had not appeared again. It was possible that she had given up. No matter what, this made Sheng Bowen feel very relaxed. He could also find some free time to peek at Hu Rant's serious look at work. Although Sheng Bowen didn't know why Ren Yufei had agreed to Shen Kai's suggestion, she didn't seem to have explained it to him in detail. But that was not important. What was important was that Ren Yufei, who was immersed in her work, was really beautiful.
Perhaps because she noticed Sheng Bowen's torch-like gaze, Ren Yufei raised her head and glared at him. In the eyes of other colleagues, the two of them were still ordinary superiors and subordinates. Therefore, Sheng Bowen rarely had the chance to really talk to Ren Yufei. But were they going to continue getting along like this? This was not conducive to his plan to chase after his wife. Therefore, he directly pressed the intercom. "Secretary Run, come in for a moment." Ren Yufei thought it was business, so she quickly got up. However, when she saw Sheng Bowen's relaxed gaze, she immediately said, "President, if it's for personal matters, can't we talk after work?" After saying that, Ren Yufei was about to turn around, but she was stopped by Sheng Bowen. "When it's time to get off work, you'll say that you're tired and want to go home to rest. Accompany me for lunch. Anyway, it used to be like this." Ren Yufei was afraid of being seen by others, so she nodded. "Okay." Thinking about it, Sheng Bowen felt a little aggrieved. He was the dignified president of Huangyao, but he had to hide and be careful when he wanted to have a meal with his girlfriend. In the end, it was still because the knot in Ren Yufei's heart had not been completely opened, and she could not truly trust him. In fact, he was also doubting whether he could really protect Ren Yufei. After the two of them got off work and were about to go out, they met the vice president of the company, who sent them an urgent document. "You'd better not go out to eat, because you'll have a headache soon." "What's going on?" "The new products for next season haven't been released yet, but imitations have already flooded the market." The vice president showed the report to Sheng Bowen. "At present, we don't know who leaked it. It seems that the person's position isn't low." Sheng Bowen looked at it and could only look at Ren Yufei helplessly. Ren Yufei did not blame him. She just said, "I'll order food for the two of you right away, including yourself." Sheng Bowen did not forget to remind her before closing the door. "This secretary is really considerate." The vice president could not help but sigh. "Don't have any ideas about her. She's already your chairman's granddaughter-in-law," Sheng Bowen said. When the vice president heard this, he immediately felt a sour taste in his mouth. He also smiled. "I say, a dignified president cares about a secretary. I really have to congratulate him." "This matter is a secret for the time being," Sheng Bowen instructed the vice president. Got it. Let's get down to business first." Sheng Bowen smiled and looked at Ren Yufei through the glass. This woman really made him feel at ease and at ease. However, how would he know that Hu Ran had hired someone to follow Ren Yufei? Hu Ran did not flare up now because she had not seen anything explosive yet. After all, it always took time to follow someone. Sheng Bowen stayed in the company until evening when he received a call from Sheng Minglan. She and Jing Yun were boarding the plane that night. Thinking that eighth brother and the others had already gone to see them off, he also pulled Ren Yufei and said, "Come with me somewhere." "But are you unwilling?" "No, I have to go home and change my clothes." Ren Yufei looked down at herself and said, "I'm too professional. It's okay. Minglan and the others won't mind. You're already my girlfriend, so can't you see my family? Fourth sister is going abroad today. I don't know when we'll see each other again." "All right, I'll go with you." Ren Yufei could not take it anymore. She had seen Sheng Bowen act coquettishly in front of Sheng Xiao and Sheng Minglan. This man would only show such a side to people he truly cared about. Therefore, she felt that she was warm too. The two of them quickly got into the car. At this time, Sheng Bowen asked Ren Yufei, "You've been by my side for so long, but I still don't know about your family situation. Where are your relatives?" Chapter 711. Sheng Bowen saw that Ren Yufei's face was pale and realized that he might have said something wrong. He quickly tried to smooth things over. "If you don't want to talk about it, we won't mention it. It's not like that." Ren Yufei tilted her head to look at Sheng Bowen and replied, "I just feel that family matters can't be brought up in public." "There's nothing that can't be brought up in public. Look at Xiao Qi. She never belittles herself," Sheng Bowen said. "If you're willing to tell me, I'll listen. If you're not willing, then we'll wait until the day you untie the knot in your heart." Ren Yufei was silent for a while and finally admitted defeat. "Actually, I have two younger brothers at home.
Because I had to raise my younger brother, my parents sold me to a couple who couldn't have children when I was 4 years old. However, after a car accident, the couple left and I was homeless, so I was sent back. Later, my parents didn't have any more ideas about me. It's just that I don't have anything that my younger brother has, so I secretly swore that one day I would escape from my original family. After I became an adult, I relied on my own efforts to get into university and work part-time to study. However, my parents knew about my situation and wanted me to earn money to buy a house for my younger brother. I couldn't take it anymore, so I broke up with my family. Later, I entered Huang Yao and was taken in by CEO Sheng at that time. He asked me to, but you didn't do anything to hurt me, Sheng Bowen said with a smile. At that time, I needed this income. I couldn't be fired by CEO Sheng. But in the end, you didn't take this path. Sheng Bowen looked at her, and his expression softened. Look, it's not a big deal to say it now, right? Chairman, do you really not despise my birth? Ren Yufei's expression was very unconfident. I really know myself. I really don't want to climb up the social ladder. You're just doing it because you have feelings for me. Ren Yufei did not say anything because Sheng Bowen had already said what was on her mind. Yufei, I was born into a wealthy family. It's not as amazing as you think. I was also imprisoned by the old man and lost my freedom in life. Since that's all in the past, let's look forward, okay? After Ren Yufei heard this, she nodded and felt a little relieved. Sheng Bowen might not be as good as Sheng Xiao, who could strategize everything. However, the feeling he gave people was real. He might not be able to save you from danger, but when danger came, he would definitely stand in front of you and bear the pain for you. You're probably the easiest person to get along with among the rich and powerful. The rich aren't as scary as you think. I can't help but criticize Little Seven again. Is she difficult to get along with? Ren Yufei shook her head. That was because Mu Qiqi had always been tormented by Mu Tongxue, even if she was born into a rich family. She might only be 20 years old, but she was much more mature than most men and women. Soon, they arrived at the airport. By then, Mu Qiqi was already touching Sheng Minglan's belly and whispering to her. You're finally here. Sheng Minglan glared at him. I thought you wouldn't come. You don't plan to see Grandpa before leaving? I went to see him 2 days ago. Didn't you know? Sheng Minglan reached out and hugged Sheng Bowen. Third brother, be happy. Jingyan still looked serious, but it was obvious that his eyes were on Sheng Minglan's movements. He was really nervous. Call often when you're abroad. Sheng Bowen couldn't help but remind her. Why did you bring your secretary to see us off? Sheng Minglan teased. That's your future sister-in-law. Sheng Bowen rolled his eyes at her and turned around to put his arm around Ren Yufei's shoulder. When your brother gets married, don't forget to give me a gift. Be good to her. The few of them saw each other off at the airport. Finally, they sent the couple to the security checkpoint. Then, Mu Qiqi yawned at Shang Xiao. Let's go, Xiao Xiao. We're going home to sleep. You guys should go home and sleep too. When Ren Yufei heard this, her ears immediately turned red. Xiao Qi, are you planning to go home and suppress eighth brother again? Sheng Bowen teased. That's our boudoir. Do you have it? Sheng Bowen choked. He knew that this girl was up to no good, but he still went to provoke her. He was asking for trouble. Mu Qiqi looked at the two of them. One was stiffer than the other. She smiled. All right, I won't tease you anymore. Secretary Ren, keep in touch when you're free. Okay, Miss Mu. Mu Qiqi looked at the two of them meaningfully and then burrowed into Sheng Zhao's arms. It's already March. Why are you still so cold? Sheng Bowen looked in the direction where Mu Qiqi and Ren Yufei had left and shook his head. Then, he turned to Ren Yufei and said, Let's go. I'll send you back too. Ren Yufei's face had been blushing because Mu Qiqi was really too shameless. By the way, it's Grandpa's birthday in a few days. You should come too. Before getting into the car, Sheng Bowen said to Ren Yufei. Ren Yufei did not pay attention to Sheng Bowen's words because she noticed from the rearview mirror that someone seemed to be following them. Late that night, Hu Ran already knew about Ren Yufei and Sheng Bowen's intimate actions. After all, she had sent someone to follow them for several days. Miss Hu, do you still want to follow them? The man asked Hu Ran. There's no need. Hu Ran shook her head and sat on the chair. Her whole body was stiff because she found it hard to accept. By the way, there's one more thing. Since yesterday, someone else has been following CEO Shum. Before the man left, he said to Hu Ran curiously, "At that time, I thought it was someone else you found, but when I saw it later, it wasn't. Why do you think it wasn't?" "Because I saw that person get into an expensive car with my own eyes. I asked my friend to check the license plate and found that the car belonged to the Gu family." After Hu Ran heard this, she vaguely guessed that the other group of people might be Sheng Kai's men. Sheng Bowen was not Sheng Xiao, who could easily discover the dangers around him. He could take damage, but he had no defense. After hearing this news, her anger dissipated by more than half. "If there's nothing else, I'll be leaving first." The man saw that Hu Ran did not move and thought that she did not care. However, Hu Ran stopped him. "Wait, continue to follow Sheng Bowen for me, especially the person following him." "Understand, Miss Hu." Papa, who heard the conversation between the two of them outside Hu Ran's room. He sighed and entered the room to pat his daughter's shoulder. "Why are you doing this? Since you're so angry, aren't you just letting third young master die?" "Dad, I know you can't let go. Actually, have you realized that your feelings for third young master are possessive, worried, and angry? But there's no heartache?" Hu Ran did not say anything. "That's because your feelings for him are more like family." You're tuning in to the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.